Chapter 1392. William is envious of the golden body, but because the blood tribe's method is more feminine, he can't learn it. The beauty in white directly steps forward and holds Li Fan's arm. The softness in front of her chest made Li Fan lose control of his mind. Until Murong Ying coughs twice, Li Fan comes back to his senses and gently pushes away this beauty. A beauty's favor is really hard to bear. Li Fan chuckles. After all, Murong Ying is here, so he can only pretend to be a gentleman. Do I really make you dislike me so much? The beauty in white pouted her mouth in grievance. This small appearance really makes Li Fan feel a little distressed. This woman, how can she be so beautiful, making people feel pity for her? This heroine, at least tell me your name, okay? Handsome, you're not interested in my body. Instead, you're interested in my name. The beauty in white doesn't seem to see the nearby Murong Ying. Her eyes are only looking at Li Fan. She even sticks close to his ear, whispering like a couple's whisper, "My name is Amorous." Amorous? Li Fan mutters in his heart, is there someone with this name? This woman is not here to make fun of me, right? I have already told you, it's up to you whether you believe it or not. The beauty in white says, takes 2 steps back, with her hands behind her back, standing in front of Li Fan. That pretty face has a touch of charm that can't be melted. Heaven has no good intentions, fox girls are affectionate. After saying that, the beauty in white lightly steps on the ground, and her whole body flies more than 10 meters away. In his ears, he can still faintly hear her words. Little handsome brother, it's not time for us to meet. Let's meet again later. With that, she uses Qinggong and flies away. This woman. What is her background? Heaven has no good intentions, fox girls are affectionate. What does this sentence mean? As Li Fan thinks about it, he can't help but be lost in thought. Hey, have you seen enough? Murong Ying's cold voice suddenly rang in his ears. Li Fan quickly turned his head and explained, Aya, wife, that's not what I meant. Enrich, is it nice? It doesn't look good. Compared to my wife's back view, it's a far cry. Li Fan knew that Murong Ying was a big vinegar jar. At this time, he did not dare to say anything else, so he said something nice first. Humph. Murong Ying sheathed her long sword, turned around and walked in the direction of the white-robed beauty. Hey, where are you going? Let's go find that demon. Murong Ying rolled her eyes at Li Fan. Follow her. We'll definitely find it. My wife is smart. Li Fan flattered him without batting an eyelid. Now that you mention it, I understand immediately. Boss, what do we do with those idiots? William pointed to the helicopters hovering overhead. Let them play by themselves. Li Fan could not be bothered with the life and death of these people, but William was a little unhappy. Boss, that Abel clearly wanted to blow you up just now. Aren't you going to take revenge? These clowns, I can't be bothered with them. Li Fan did not put Abel in his eyes at all. Right now, the overall situation is the most important. The crusade against the demon is not over yet. I don't want to have unnecessary disputes. Killing each other will only let the demon on the island have the last laugh. Just now, I gave him one last chance. If this guy wants to provoke me again, I won't be so polite anymore. Okay, then I'll listen to boss. I won't lower myself to the level of these idiots. William swallowed his anger first. At the same time, he muttered in his heart, Abel and those bastards, why don't they have the foresight of boss? Those Huaxia people actually survived. Why Elizabeth was a little unhappy. They were really lucky. This is a good thing. Abel laughed. After all, they are comrades. We should be happy that they are alive. I sincerely admire your magnanimity. But those Huaxia people are really shameless. They were greedy for their lives and even saved the demoness. Yes, this is indeed a little inappropriate. Abel let out a long sigh. But everyone has their own aspirations. The Huaxia people are greedy for life and afraid of death, but we have to work hard together with them. Even if we have to sacrifice our lives, we have to crusade against that damned demon and protect our home. Sir, we are willing to sacrifice our lives for you. We will lead the way. Everyone was extremely moved and expressed their loyalty. Okay, Let's work hard together. Everything is for the sake of saving the world. Abel's slogan was extremely loud, but in his heart, he was thinking about how to kill Li Fan and obtain his genes. Then, he would become a truly powerful existence. For himself, for the Empire, Li Fan must die. He did not kill him this time, but Abel believed that sooner or later, there would be a chance to kill this guy. Sir, what should we do now? Why Lizabeth asked. Follow the direction that the white-clothed woman left and chase after her. When we find that damned demon, gather all the firepower and kill him. You are wise. Why Lizabeth admired Abel from the bottom of her heart. Not only was Sir Abel strong, but his mind was also very clear. Those Huaxia people really did not know what was good for them. They actually dared to go against Sir Abel. It was simply a road to death. Without Sir Abel, they would not be able to move an inch on this island. That William, who was obviously the head of a big family, was actually so stupid to go and rely on two Huaxia people. In the end, he was still too young. Perhaps, the Parker family would also be ruined because of this Duke William. Then where did Immerse go? After following for a long time, Li Fan realized that he had lost track of the white-clothed beauty. This woman's whereabouts were really strange. She did not use Qinggong. Murong Ying looked at the surrounding leaves and grass and judged the traces left by the white-clothed beauty when she left. No matter how good Qinggong is, stepping on the grass will leave a little trace. But there are no traces at all here. So, I guess that the woman flew back. Murong Ying gave a bold guess. Flew back. The more Li Fan listened, the more shocked he was. My goodness, did she really cultivate to become an immortal? There is actually such a magical power. Things are getting more and more interesting. I am really a little excited now. Li Fan was in high spirits, causing Murong Ying to smile bitterly. You just can't stay idle. It's not that I can't stay idle. My martial arts have already reached the peak. Li Fan looked at Murong Ying and said very seriously, for martial arts, the saint rank is indeed the limit. But this year, I am only in my early 20s. I still want to break through and become stronger. That's true. If you want to become stronger, I will accompany you. Murong Ying nodded. Let's see if we can find the legendary true immortal arts here. That's great, thank you. Looking at Murong Ying's unwavering gaze, Li Fan felt gratified. No matter how hostile the two of them were outside, at this moment, on this island, the two of them depended on each other and would never leave each other. Chapter 1393. The white-clothed beauty was nowhere to be found. If Li Fan wanted to find her, there was only one way. William walked in front and used his unique ability to sense evil energy. Li Fan was not envious of this unique ability, and it could be said that he was not envious at all. Boss. I'm a little, as he walked, William muttered. They were surrounded by mountains and forests. The trees swayed in the wind, and the leaves rustled. It was as if the forest was whispering. William, are you afraid? Li Fan could not help but ask. How can that be? Then why are your calves trembling? Yes, a little calcium deficiency. Li Fan wanted to laugh. This guy was still stubborn. Don't worry. With me and your mistress here, you won't be at a disadvantage. Boss is right. What's there to be afraid of? Ha ha, this guy laughed dryly. Li Ran was helpless. He was clearly afraid. But it was not his fault. That girl was indeed very powerful, especially when there was an even more terrifying great devil here. Just enduring that terrifying aura was already too much for him to bear. How much further? Seeing that the forest seemed endless, Li Fan could not help but ask. Almost there. William estimated the distance. It's less than 10 kilometers away. Oh, we're already so close. Li Fan looked ahead and found that there was still nothing unusual in front of him. But on this island, everything was incomparably strange, so Li Fan was no longer surprised, and began to have a spirit of reverence for everything. There seems to be something ahead. Murong Ying was deep in thought as she stared ahead. What is it? Li Fan looked into the distance and did not find anything strange. Look carefully. Isn't the scenery in the distance a little distorted? Murong Ying's observation was very meticulous. She stretched out her hand and pointed. Li Fan carefully identified it and found that his wife was right. The scenery in the distance really did not have any flaws if one did not look carefully. Li Fan admired Murong Ying's terrifying observation skills. You also have to observe more. This is the foundation of a martial artist. Yes, my wife is right. Looking at Li Fan's cheeky face, Murong Ying knew that he didn't take it to heart. However, since they were enemies, she could only sigh lightly. You didn't take the things I told you to heart. Murong Ying scolded in a low voice. No one is perfect. Li Fan shamelessly said, if I can't do it well, then my wife can do it for me. Bitch, you're dreaming. Murong Ying turned her head away, as if she couldn't be bothered with Li Fan, but the corners of her mouth were clearly raised, as if she was happy. Wife, what do you think we should do now? You're the one in charge, and you're asking me? Alright then, let's go there and take a look. Li Fan once again pulled Murong Ying's small hand. No matter if it's a dragon's pool or a tiger's den in front, I'll accompany you. Good. Murong Ying seemed to be happy, but William, who had been scouting ahead, had a sullen face. Damn it, I always feel like I'm a super third wheel. The three of them were experts, and their footsteps were extremely fast. In a short while, they had already arrived at the place where the illusion was. When Li Fan came closer to take a look, he discovered that there seemed to be a ripple in front of him, making the forest in front of him look illusory and real, somewhat mysterious. Looks like it's here. Li Fan stood in front of the illusion. He stretched out his hand and lightly tapped on the illusion. A clear ripple immediately spread out, causing William to cry out in surprise. He had lived for so long, but he had never seen such a scene. It's an illusion. Li Fan boldly guessed, this place is completely hidden. Are we going in? Of course, we're going in. Li Fan has already made a decision. No matter what terrible thing was in front of him, he had to see it to the end. William, are you going in with us, or are you going to guard here? Li Fan knew that William was timid, so he didn't force him. He just smiled and asked, letting William make his own choice. Boss. Although I'm not strong enough, I can still help boss a little. William, as the patriarch of the Parker family, how could he retreat in this kind of place? Although he was a little afraid, he still followed them resolutely. Alright, since that's the case, I'll definitely protect you. Li Fan was very pleased. Although William was timid, he was very loyal to him, which was rare. In the future, when he fought with the US Empress, he would naturally need William's help. I believe boss. My status today was originally given by boss, so I have no regrets handing this life to you. Very good. Li Fan stretched out his hand and touched the illusion barrier. Li Fan's hand passed through the illusion, followed by his whole body. Together with Murong Ying, they passed through the invisible wall and arrived at their destination. A huge stone door appeared in front of them. The stone door was more than 10 meters high and 3 meters wide. On both sides were stone pillars with coiling dragons. On top of it was a plaque with flowing clouds. The plaque was engraved with 3 big words, Sinner Valley. After an unknown amount of time, even though the stone door was mottled with cracks, these 3 words were still clear. It was as if it was not engraved on the stone door, but engraved in the soul of every onlooker. The 2 stone dragons on the pillars looked ferocious, as if they were in great pain. They opened their bloody mouths, as if they wanted to tear out the hearts of all the intruders. Boss. Where is this? William couldn't help but feel a little nervous. His courage just now was all gone. He was scared by this door. This place is a little frightening. However, I can sense an overwhelming righteous energy here. Li Fan patted William's shoulder. No wonder you are afraid. This place is so strange. William wiped his cold sweat. I feel that those 2 monsters. It is as if they will wake up at any time and bite me. Ian, there is a bit of mystery here. Anyway, you just need to follow us closely. Li Fan looked through the stone door and saw some villages in the distance. There are actually people living in this place. It is getting more and more interesting. Li Fan was even a little excited. Could this be the legendary land of immortals? Li Fan could feel a strong sense of righteousness here. It seems that this village relied on this sense of righteousness to suppress the demons on the island. No matter what, let's go in and take a look first. Murong Ying took the lead and walked towards the village. She was worried that the higher Li Fan's expectation, the greater the disappointment. What is this place? Whether the people here are friend or foe, I don't know. Let's hope this mission can be simple. Without hesitation, the two of them brought along the restless William and entered the village hidden in the illusory realm. Chapter 1394. The village was not big, but it exuded an otherworldly aura, as if it was a paradise. Li Fan and Murong Ying walked into the village hand in hand. They saw chickens crowing and dogs barking. The people were simple and serene. Li Fan stopped a boy who was herding cows. The boy was about 6 or 7 years old and chubby. He only wore a small red doo-doo with a koi embroidered on it. There was also a copper lock around his neck, symbolizing good luck. "Little boy, what is this place?" Li Fan asked. "Are you stupid? Isn't it written at the entrance of the village? This is the Sinner Valley." The little boy rolled his eyes and complained, causing Li Fan's eyebrows to twitch. Murong Ying, who had been observing the village from the side, burst out in laughter when she heard what he said. Li Fan was defeated in front of a child. Was there anything more interesting than this? "Beautiful big sister, you're so beautiful. Why are you with a fool?" The little boy suddenly hugged Murong Ying's thigh and asked in a crisp voice. "What a pity. Good boy." Murong Ying looked at the clever little boy and could not help but feel love for him. This girl had originally planned to give birth to a child for Li Fan. Unfortunately, Luo Xuewu intercepted her halfway. She must have felt regret in her heart. Xiaobao, Xiaobao? Just as Li Fan was racking his brains on how to get information out of this brat's mouth, a village woman next to him came over and shouted the little brat's nickname. "Mom, I'm here." The little wimp shouted loudly. Murong Ying hurriedly put him down and let him go find his mother. "Who are you?" After coaxing the child, the village woman's gaze finally fell on Li Fan and the others. Li Fan pondered for a moment. He really did not know how to explain. Should he tell the truth or make up a story? "You're here to kill the nine-tailed divine fox, right?" The village woman's words shocked Li Fan and Murong Ying at the same time. They looked at each other. "Nine-tailed divine fox," Li Fan said. "We're indeed here to seal a demon, but we don't know if it's that nine-tailed divine fox." "It must be her." The village woman nodded vigorously and pointed to the side. "Our village's Li lives there. Go and ask him." "Thanks a lot." No matter what, at least there was a clue. Li Fan followed the village woman's guidance and walked towards Li Zhang's house. Not long after they left, the little wimp suddenly said, "Mother, that big brother is very stupid. Can he defeat the nine-tailed divine fox?" "I don't know either. But someone has to go and fight the nine-tailed divine fox. Otherwise, how are we supposed to survive?" "Mother, don't be afraid. I will protect you." This little brat was very mischievous. He hugged his mother and said, "Good boy, I'm not afraid. But mother, is that nine-tailed divine fox really that bad? I've never seen her before. But the villagers say that this nine-tailed divine fox has done all kinds of evil. If she's released, not only our village, but the entire world will be destroyed by her." The village woman looked at Li Fan's house and thought to herself, "I hope we can successfully survive this crisis. These outsiders are our last hope." "Huh! Why is the buffalo startled?" The little wimp looked at the water buffalo that was stomping its hooves anxiously. He couldn't help but feel that it was strange. "More people are coming." The village woman glanced at the village entrance. "And there are quite a few of them. So many people. This time, we can definitely defeat the nine-tailed divine fox." The child clapped his hands happily. The village woman was also happy. There was strength in numbers. It would be good to have more helpers. At this moment, Li Fan and the others had already found Li Zheng. The village's Li Zheng was about 40 years old. He wore a simple navy blue robe and sat in the house drinking alone. Li Zheng seems to be in a good mood. "Don't you find it boring to drink alone?" When Li Fan entered and saw the Li Zheng's appearance, he couldn't help but laugh. Outsiders? The Li Zheng looked at Li Fan and the others in surprise. Then, his gaze fell on William. Monsters. The Li Zheng was well built. Although he was already middle-aged, he was quite strong. He grabbed a spear hanging on the wall and threw it. The spear shot towards William like a bolt of lightning. William didn't even have time to react. Fortunately, Li Fan made the first move. He stretched out his hand and flicked the spear. Clang! With a crisp sound, a shockwave exploded in the air. Then, the spear stabbed into the wall. Are you the companions of the monsters? The Li Zheng was furious. He roared. His words were like thunder, causing everyone's ears to ring. You are a Li Zheng. Why are you so impulsive? Li Fan couldn't help but reprimand. Can you listen to what I have to say first? What the hell? Just as the Li Zheng was about to flip the table, a sword was already pointed at his neck. Murong Ying stood at the side. She didn't say a word. She just held the sword, but the Li Zheng obediently shut his mouth and calmed down. If you want to kill me, come at me. I'm not afraid of you. The Li Zheng was rather unyielding. Do you have paranoia? Li Fan couldn't help but smile bitterly. Do you want me to recommend a better psychiatrist to you? Ivildor, what are you trying to do? Do you want to save the nine-tailed divine fox? You are wrong. We are here to seal the devil on this island. Li Fan placed his hand on William's body. As for this one, he is the patriarch of an ancient family in a foreign country. He is not a monster. Humph, nonsense. The Li Zheng sneered. He can't even hide his demonic aura. Although I am just a mortal, I won't allow you to bully me like this. You are simply a lunatic. Li Fan was so angry that he almost laughed. If I want to kill you, it will be as easy as turning my hand over. Why would I lie to you? Humph, the nine-tailed divine fox is about to wake up. Who knows if you are her accomplices and want to release her? You are sick in the head. Li Fan rolled his eyes. You said it yourself. She is about to wake up. If we are accomplices, why do we need to release her? I say, with your IQ, how did you become a Li Zheng? Heh! We decide by force of arms. Li Fan was completely speechless. This was simply outrageous. I am the former Imperial Sword of China. Today, I came here to kill the nine-tailed divine fox. Li Fan stared at him and measured his identity. Imperial Sword? What about the sword? Don't you understand the word former? I can say that I am the former Jade Emperor. Li Fan was speechless. This person is so stubborn. What should we do? Li Fan could only ask Murong Ying for help. Ignore him. Let's go find the nine-tailed divine fox. With our swordsmanship, we can kill her. Murong Ying was getting impatient. Chapter 1395. Are you really here to kill the nine-tailed divine fox? Li Zheng seemed to finally understand and asked after hesitating for a moment. Aren't you spouting nonsense? Even if he is a monster, we are both humans, right? Humans helping the nine-tailed divine fox destroy the world? Are you crazy? You need to recharge your IQ. Li Fan could not help but speak fiercely. Okay. I might have misunderstood you. Li Zheng finally gave in. Li Fan and Murong Ying both heaved a sigh of relief. If Li Zheng continued to be entangled here, it would be really troublesome. Can we have a good chat now? Yes. Li Fan then let Murong Ying keep her autumn water sword. The two of them pulled William and sat in front of Li Zheng. Li Zheng looked at them and smiled bitterly. He pointed at William and said, Gentlemen, although I am a bit abrupt, this person's demonic aura is too strong. Not to mention me, when we reach the Demon Ceiling Hill, those dragon warriors will not give you any face. Demon Ceiling Hill? Dragon warriors? Li Fan listened attentively. Yes, the nine-tailed divine fox is sealed in the Demon Ceiling Hill, and the dragon elders are true descendants of the dragon race. They have the blood of both humans and dragons in their bodies. They have been guarding the Sinner Valley and the nine-tailed divine fox for generations. Dragon people? Li Fan could not help but be surprised. There was actually a mixed blood of the dragon race and humans here. Yes, these descendants are called dragon warriors. That's not right. Li Fan thought of the secrets of the dragon race. Even if a dragon woman is pregnant with a human child, the child should be a pureblood dragon. How can there be mixed blood dragon people? I didn't expect you to know so much about the dragon race. Li Zheng looked at Li Fan in surprise. Li Fan muttered in his heart. This is bullshit. I was a dragon knight before. You will be scared to death if I tell you. Although it's extremely difficult for a dragon male to reproduce with a human female, there's actually still a certain probability. Li Zheng explained, the ones who survived are naturally the dragon warriors. However, whether it was the dragon clan or the human side, they were not well received. Thus, they were sent to this valley to guard the demon sealing hill for generations, never to leave. Isn't this too heartless? Li Fan frowned. This group of dragons, he had recklessly given birth to children, but in the end, they were punished instead. What was the difference between staying here for generations and staying in prison? Why are these dragon warriors still following the rules? Can't they just find an opportunity to leave? Murong Ying asked. This Sinner Valley has a magical barrier that was created by the dragon clan in the past. Rizheng pointed outside the window. The scenery in the distance was slightly swaying. This barrier not only protects our village in Sinner Valley, but it also serves as a cage for the dragon warriors. As long as the dragon warriors leave this barrier, they will die quickly. Fuck, so deceptive. Hearing this, Li Fan was stunned. These dragons are too cruel to their own children. Even a vicious tiger would not eat its cubs, but when a dragon does, it's a bit unreasonable. That's why, the temper of the dragon warriors is a bit weird. Rizheng shrugged his shoulders. You guys have to be careful when dealing with them. When entering the demon sealing hill, it's best not to bring this demon friend. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Aya, then I'll just wait in the village. William heaved a sigh of relief. He could not wait to go to the demon sealing hill. In this Sinner Valley, that terrifying aura became even denser, pressuring William's heart. It was as if a death god was staring at him at all times. William's hair stood on end. If not for accompanying Li Fan, he would have escaped long ago. All right, when the time comes, you can stay here with Rizheng. Li Fan guaranteed to Rizheng, don't worry, although my friend's aura is not good, he's a coward and harmless. William smiled bitterly. To say that the Parker clan's leader is harmless, only Boss would say such word. Boss, although I'm not here, I still want to help Boss, William said as he stretched out his hand. A blood-red flame ignited in his palm. This flame squirmed and finally turned into a small blood-red bat that flew in front of Li Fan. William's face became even paler, like a corpse. He pointed at the blood bat and said weakly, Boss, this is my blood magic. After you have this magic, you can use my blood magic. Won't you be very weak like this? It's fine. After Boss finishes this battle, you can return it to me. William said his reason, if Boss loses, the entire world will be finished. Even if I keep my blood magic, I won't be able to survive. But I know my strength is low and can't help Boss, so I'll just give you a little bit of strength. Millimeter, I'll accept your kindness. Li Fan nodded. He stretched out his hand and held the blood bat in his hand. An evil force condensed in Li Fan's palm, which can be used by him temporarily. Although Li Fan can't use this blood energy for the time being, it's better than nothing. To deal with the nine-tailed divine fox, it's always good to have one more trump card. Such a strong demonic aura. The village chief could not help but click his tongue, surprised by this blood energy. He's on our side. Li Fan pointed at William, village chief. He contributed his strength to seal the nine-tailed divine fox. If he recuperates here, you won't ignore him, right? How could I? Since this friend is not our Sinner Valley's enemy, then he will stay here. As the village chief, I will naturally protect him. However, in order to avoid conflict with the dragon warriors, can you stay in my house for the time being? Most people won't come here, so it's very safe. Okay. William naturally agreed. At this time, there was a clamor outside. Village chief, There are a lot of people outside looking for you. A shout came from outside. The village chief, who just said that no one came, immediately blushed. It's probably them. Li Fan smiled at the village chief. They are all people who came to seal the fox, but they are not easy to talk to. Since they came to seal the nine-tailed divine fox, then they are our Sinner Valley's friends. The village chief put on his shoes. It seems that there are a lot of people. Let's go out and meet them. Li Fan could only go out first. There was a group of people outside, led by Abel and Elisabeth. Seeing that Li Fan came out unscathed, Abel's expression was strange, and Elisabeth's face was unhappy. It seems that Li Fan being alive made her very unhappy. Everyone, I am the village chief of this Sinner Valley. May I ask if you are here to suppress the nine-tailed divine fox? Chapter 1396. Village Chief Li counted in his heart. There were 60 to 70 people. So many people came to crusade against the nine-tailed divine fox. It was really great. Oriental people. Abel looked at this small hidden village in the east. He was a little unhappy. Why is there a group of Oriental people everywhere? Aren't they just causing trouble? These Oriental people, are they a virus? Although they were speaking Chinese, Abel's Chinese was really good. He could understand every word. Who are you? Abel didn't want to be the bad guy, but why Elisabeth asked with a cold face. Why in this place? Are you the accomplices of the devil? How could that be? You misunderstood. Village Chief Li remembered Li Fan's grievances and hurriedly explained. We have been living here for generations to monitor this devil, in case she comes out and causes chaos in the world. What evidence do you have? Why Elisabeth didn't believe it and continued to ask. Village Chief Li was about to continue to explain, but Li Fan took a step forward and asked with a smile. Everyone, what's wrong? Are you not satisfied with the bombardment outside? Are you planning to massacre this paradise-like little village as well? Li Fan said and flashed his sword. These are my Chinese people. Abel, why Elisabeth, if you dare to make a move on them, it means you are declaring war on my country. I ask you, do you have the courage? Li Fan's previous gentle appearance changed. Instead, his murderous aura made Abel and Elisabeth subconsciously take a step back. This man. At this moment, he is so fierce. Elisabeth, a woman who doesn't give in, didn't dare to provoke Li Fan at this moment. Li Fan, we are all allies. When did we start a war? Abel was scared. He remembered Li Fan's demon-like strength. He decided not to have a conflict with him now. Elisabeth is just asking. Don't think too much. That's good. Only then did Li Fan put away his sword and stood aside as if nothing had happened. Village Chief, tell them the rules, Wang Yarrow said. Rules? A representative of an island country couldn't help but say. What? Do we need rules to save the world? Well, there are still some rules. Li Zheng sneered. The nine-tailed divine fox is an extremely terrifying existence. If you want to go to the demon sealing hill, you'll need a certain level of strength. Otherwise, those who are weak will be bewitched by the miasma there and become the nine-tailed divine fox's lackeys. Everyone here is an elite. An Indian yoga warrior walked out and shouted, "How dare you, a Chinese, look down on us?" Just as he finished speaking, Li Zheng suddenly took a step forward and placed his palm on his lower abdomen. With a bang, the yoga warrior's body spun and flew more than 10 meters away. He fell to the ground and fainted. The members of God's Dusk were all shocked. They never thought that an ordinary-looking villager would have such powerful skills. We, the villagers of Sinner Valley, all know how to make money. Li Zheng gave a simple and honest smile. If you can't even defeat us, then don't go to the demon sealing hill, lest you add another dead soul. Li Zheng's words were there. Because he had just shown his hand, his words now had a strong deterrent force. Tell me, how do we test it? Do I have to fight you? Abel was slightly dissatisfied. They were here to save the world, so why did they have to make it so troublesome? No, I only know how to make money. It doesn't count as combat power. Li Zheng quickly waved his hand. Everyone, look over there. The demon sealing hill is in that direction. In order to suppress the nine-tailed divine fox, our ancestors left behind the heavenly dragon temple. Everyone, follow me. I will take you to see the abbot of the heavenly dragon temple. He has a profound dharma, so he naturally has a way to test everyone's strength. Then quickly lead the way. While Elizabeth was a little impatient, we are obviously here to save the world, but in the end, it's like a test. Are you kidding me? She represented the majority of the people's thoughts. This matter was troublesome. I'm really sorry. The rules are like this. I've caused trouble for everyone. Li Zhang extended his hand. Everyone, please follow me. Li Zhang led the group of people out of the village and arrived in front of an ancient temple. Li Fan stood in front of the temple and looked at the ancient temple that had been built for God knows how many years. Although the temple was old, it did not lose its solemnity. Through the 3-meter-high wall, Li Fan saw 8 stupas standing tall in the temple. They stood in 8 different directions as if guarding something. It's quite old. Murongying also looked at the temple, looking at the architectural style. It should be more than 1,000 years old. That is a cultural relic. It should be protected. After 1,000 years, your 7 Knights villa should also be an ancient relic. Then let's talk about it after 1,000 years. I don't think about things that far in the future. Li Fan laughed. First, let's solve the problem in front of us, then we can fly together. Bah, that's flying together. Who wants to fly together with you? Looking at Murongying's shy face, Li Fan couldn't help but want to laugh out loud. But considering that the occasion was not suitable, he held it back. Well, after all, this is a pure Buddhist land. He can't just study women's matters. Everyone, please wait a moment. Li Zheng naturally did not know about Li Fan and Murongying's little scheme. He hurriedly walked to the temple door, pulled the door knocker, and knocked 3 times. After a while, the temple door creaked open. A bald little monk in grey robe poked his head out and glanced at Li Zheng. Benefactor, today the abbot will give a sermon and will not accept incense. Everyone, please go back. Little master, this doesn't seem right. Murongying had some understanding of Buddhism. When she heard this, she could not help but laugh. The so-called all living beings are equal. Buddha enlightens the world. Since it's a good thing like giving a sermon, why doesn't the abbot let others listen? Could it be that in the abbot's eyes, this Buddhism can only be cultivated by you Tianlong temple monks and others cannot? Amitabha. This female benefactor. I'm just a little acolyte. Whatever the abbot says, I'll do it. The little monk's face turned red. Li Fan muttered in his heart, none of my women are easy to deal with. Hu Yuan, go and tell the abbot that the challenger is here. Okay, then everyone, please wait a moment. The little monk closed the temple door and went in to report. But most of the people present were impatient. How could it be so troublesome to come and save the world? Li Zheng seemed to be afraid that these people would be tired of waiting, so he kept chatting with them to raise their interest. After about 10 minutes, the door of the temple was opened again. This time, 2 martial monks wearing golden monk robes stood on both sides. An old monk wearing a red cassock came out to greet them and gave them a Buddhist salute. Amitabha, everyone, please follow this poor monk. Chapter 1397. The Sky Dragon Temple's welcoming monk personally came out and led everyone into the temple. The temple was paved with white bluestone bricks. There were even Buddhist lotuses imprinted on them, giving the temple a holy atmosphere. The temple was not small, but there weren't many monks. After entering, the 8 stupas became clearer. It was as if there were 8 Buddha statues guarding this place. Everyone looked around and observed the heavenly dragon temple. Abel even lowered his voice and chatted with Elizabeth. This place should be thousands of years old. Such a long history should be left to the empire. Yes, only the empire has the right to preserve such a precious history. Abel said proudly, leaving it to the Huaxia will only ruin it. But, how are we going to protect this place? Isn't our aircraft carrier here? I'll talk to the commander later. Let's have the aircraft carrier practice near Paul Island all year round. Everyone arrived in front of the Grand Hall. Many monks were already standing there, forming a circle. An old monk wearing a golden red robe and holding a Buddhist staff was standing there, motionless like a statue. As if he sensed everyone approaching, he slowly opened his eyes. His small eyes were emitting endless light. Li Fan couldn't help but feel his heart racing. How could a skinny old monk possess such a terrifying gaze? This person looked thin and weak. He was old and weak, as if he could be blown away by the wind. However, his temples were bulging. It seemed like this old monk was also a master of internal martial arts. M.I. Ta. 4, the old monk chanted. His voice was not loud, but it resounded throughout the Sky Dragon Temple. It was deafening and lingered for a long time. Everyone's expression changed. They didn't take this old monk seriously at first, but they didn't expect him to have such power. Who would have thought? A temple in a paradise could be a place with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Abel couldn't help but look at the monks holding the long staffs around him, trying to guess their true strength. They said they were here to save the world, but they didn't see any demons. Instead, they saw a group of powerful monks. What was going on? Benefactors, you've come all the way here to seal the nine-tailed divine fox. I'm truly grateful. The old monk placed one hand in front of him and performed a Buddhist greeting. His wrinkled face was filled with gratitude. Everyone, this is Zen Master Tian Yin, the abbot of the Heavenly Dragon Temple, the great Daoist master, has profound Dharma, and is the current living Buddha. Li Zheng introduced to everyone. Amitabha. You're flattering me. The Dharma of Buddhism is boundless, and this old monk has only understood a little. The path of learning Buddhism is still very long. You're right. Murong Ying snorted. You old monk, preaching Dharma behind closed doors, it's really embarrassing. You should learn more about this Dharma of yours. How can you speak to the abbot like that? The president of the commandment yard next to him glared at him and scolded fiercely. Buddha helps the predestined. Do you think everyone can hear the Dharma of the abbot? That's right, Buddha will help those who are fated. Murong Ying continued, but we're here today because we are fated with Buddha and Tianlong Temple. Not only us, but everyone who comes to Tianlong Temple is fated with Dharma. You don't help those who are fated and preach Buddha behind closed doors. Is this reasonable? As the leader of the Wulin world, Murong Ying, in addition to her strong martial arts, has also done a lot of research on Dharma. She and the Shaolin Temple's inner temple abbot are good friends, and occasionally like to talk about Dharma. At this time, seeing these selfish monks who talk about Dharma, she naturally became angry. Usually, Murong Ying is a man of few words, but once she gets serious, she is unforgiving. Li Fan has suffered a lot in this aspect, so this time he simply pretended to be mute and only listened to Murong Ying argue with the monks. You little girl, how dare you be presumptuous in my Tianlong Temple? The commandment yard's president is hot-tempered. He blows his beard and glares, and is about to teach Murong Ying a lesson. Wait. Zen Master Tianyin frowns and scolds in a low voice. Junior brother Tian Q, what do you want to do? Abbot, I'm going to teach this girl a lesson and let her talk nonsense in our pure land of Buddhism. Tian Q exerts his internal force, and the monk robe on his body bulges round, which makes everyone shudder with fear. Good heavens, another expert. Amitabha, you're also obsessed. Zen Master Tianyin can't help but enlighten his hot-tempered junior brother. This female benefactor is right. It's my fault to close the door and preach. This old monk is not good at Dharma, please advise me, female benefactor. It's good to know one's mistake and correct it. Seeing Zen Master Tianyin bow his head, Murong Ying is a little satisfied. She must decide the winner of the matter she has decided. It seems that this female benefactor has some knowledge of Dharma. Why don't you stay in my Sky Dragon Temple for 2 more days and drink tea and talk about Dharma with this old monk? Li Fan raises his eyebrows. This old monk wants to snatch her. The time on the island belongs to Murong Ying. Sorry, I'm here to seal that devil. Let's talk about Dharma after it's over. Murong Ying cups her hands and apologizes. Yeah, you two should be done with your chat, right? Why Elizabeth is a little dissatisfied. Do we have to accompany you two to chat? That's true. The monk nods. Since that's the case, This old monk will talk about the rules this time. Big monk, what rules? We're here to help. Why Elizabeth is very dissatisfied. Why do we have to follow your rules to help? What kind of logic is this? Chapter 1398. Benefactors, please follow this old monk. Zen Master Tianyin led these people to a meditation room. The meditation room was very spacious. There was only a bronze Buddha mechanism placed in the center, looking solemn. This is the knowing destiny Buddha, specially used to test the challenger's strength. Zen Master Tianyin pointed at the bronze Buddha. You can ask it for advice. Are you kidding? Why Elizabeth curled her lips. This is just scrap metal. It doesn't even have AI, how can we ask it for advice? Big monk, are you deliberately making fun of us? Amitabha, benefactor, you may not know, this is not scrap metal, but a mechanical beast created by an enlightened monk. Zen Master Tianyin said with a smile, the mechanical beast is a strange art of Huaxia, and the founder was Master Lu Ban. If you don't believe me, you can ask benefactor Li for confirmation. Everyone's eyes fell on Li Fan. Li Fan was slightly embarrassed, he could only let the old monk down this time. Master Tianyin, I have heard of this mechanical art. But you have been away from the mainland for too long, you may not know, because of various reasons, this strange art has been lost in Huaxia. What? The monks in the Sky Dragon Temple were shocked, and Zen Master Tianyin even chanted the name of Buddha, then said regretfully, what a pity for Huaxia. And a pity for our culture. Yes. Li Fan was also quite regretful. Master, do you know this mechanical art? Why don't you pass it to me? Let me bring it back to Huaxia. Why Elizabeth heard this and could not help but roll her eyes. This Li Fan really took advantage of the situation. What was there to learn about this stupid mechanical art? Technology was so advanced in modern society, making some machines was as easy as flipping one's hand. Why would they need this scrap metal? What a joke. I have the same intention, but unfortunately, the senior master only left behind this mechanical beast, but did not leave the method of making it. Lost, it seems to be completely lost. Amitabha, I have sinned. The old monk looked regretful. Master Tianyin, let's talk about the challenge. Abel took a step forward and raised his voice to attract the attention of the two. The people here are all elites. We don't have time to play games with you. As the leader of Gods of Dusk, I naturally have to take responsibility for them. That's right. Everyone nodded. Big monk, hurry up and take the test. We can't wait any longer. Everyone, please don't be impatient. We will begin now. Zen Master Tianyin's voice became a little heavier. However, we have to say something first. If he couldn't pass the test, he wouldn't be qualified to enter the Demon Ceiling Hill. Benefactors, please bear witness. If you don't have a fated chance, don't force it. Okay. We promise you. Let's get started. Abel was also a little impatient. This monk was really long-winded. Gentlemen, knowing destiny Buddha is here. As long as you can pass through the door behind him and reach the other room, you will pass the test. Haha, that's easy. Leave it to me. A British knight of the Round Table immediately laughed. He lifted the iron box, and the alloy iron box immediately began to change shape. After a while, a steel warhorse appeared under his crotch. How can this scrap of copper and iron compare to the alloy warhorses of the British Empire? The Knight of the Round Table rode on the warhorse and held a big sword in his hand. He said loudly, "God bless me, I am invincible." With that, he rode on the warhorse and suddenly accelerated. With a gust of wind, he rushed towards the copper Buddha in the blink of an eye. However, it turned out that he had indeed underestimated the copper Buddha. The warhorse was extremely fast, and the Knight of the Round Table was also full of confidence. He accelerated and rushed over. However, at this moment, the originally sluggish copper Buddha suddenly moved. It just waved its right arm, raised its wooden arm, and then slapped the galloping warhorse. In the eyes of everyone, this was no different from a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Half of the copper Buddha's body was probably going to be smashed. However, a shocking scene appeared. Not only did the copper Buddha's arm not break, but the warhorse was directly slapped away. The Knight of the Round Table flew off the horse and was grabbed by the copper Buddha's other hand. He was lifted into the air. No matter how hard the Knight of the Round Table struggled, he could not escape from the copper Buddha's palm. The copper Buddha suddenly spat out a golden light that hit the Knight of the Round Table. In an instant, the Knight of the Round Table was knocked away. He fell into the distance and fainted. Everyone was dumbfounded. Monk Tianyin said slowly, "I forgot to tell you, this copper Buddha is usually at the knowing destiny state, but in battle, it is called the Wisdom King." As he spoke, the copper Buddha's head suddenly turned. It was originally a solemn Buddha statue, but behind its head was a ferocious face. At the same time, the copper Buddha slowly turned black and grew 2 pairs of arms. Six-armed Wisdom King. Li Fan muttered in his heart. Master Tianyin was really two-faced. It seemed that he also intended to give these gods of dusk a show of strength. However, this master's original intention was to dissuade them. After all, even if they went to the demon Ceiling Hill, they would only be a few more helpers for the nine-tailed divine fox. However, Li Fan was still puzzled by another thing. Since it was a demon that destroyed the world, why did the people in the Sinner Valley call it the divine fox instead of the demon fox or the demon fox? Li Fan did not find a chance to ask. He would wait until he had the chance. Li Fan was not in a hurry to make a move. He stood at the side and wanted to observe the Bright Lord's strength. These barbarians had underestimated the Huaxia's mechanical skills. It was good to teach them a lesson. The demon Ceiling Hill was not a good place. It was better not to go than to send a group of clowns there. Is this really a toy made of wood and copper? Why, Elizabeth was also very shocked. Since coming to the Demon Island, she had not had a good time. These Huaxia people were really bad. She really wondered if they were in cahoots with the sealed demon. Humph, I'll burn you. Why, Elizabeth became more and more annoyed. She raised her hand and threw a ball of red flame at the Bright Lord. No matter how strong it was still a piece of wood. How could it withstand her flame? Under Elizabeth's control, the flame condensed into a ball and flew towards the Bright Lord like a cannonball. However, the Bright Lord's 6 palms suddenly clapped together, setting off a strong airflow that instantly extinguished the flame. What? Elizabeth could not believe her eyes. How could this bronze Buddha be so intelligent? My apologies, madam, Master Tianyin explained. Buddhist monk Tianyin explained, as early as when plotting against knowing destiny Buddha, the eminent monk had already thought that someone would attack with fire, so he had set up countermeasures. Damn it, what the hell is this thing? A bronze Buddha had stumped the people of gods of dusk. Chapter 1399. Master, is there a limit to how many people can go through together? Abel was quick-witted. He quickly thought of a countermeasure and asked. There isn't. Master Tianyin smiled. No matter how many people there are, just come. Good. Abel was overjoyed. He waved his hand. Everyone, let's go and smash this thing. Yes. Everyone could see that this thing was not easy to deal with. They did not dare to hesitate. There was strength in numbers. With so many of them, someone would definitely be able to break through. The motley crew roared and rushed towards the bronze Buddha. The elites of God's Dusk were originally made up of people from various countries. Now, there were 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their own abilities. All of them wanted to rush through this so-called Wisdom Lord and make their country proud. If they couldn't even break through a trap, how could they call themselves elites? Kill that bronze Buddha. Everyone must pass through the bronze Buddha. These people shouted crazily. Their eyes were burning with anger, as if they wanted to eat someone alive. Amitabha. I have sinned. Master Tianyin kept chanting Buddhist scriptures. No one knew what he was repenting for. As for the 6-armed Wisdom Lord, it lived up to its name. At this moment, it was displaying its strength to the fullest. So many elites from so many countries besieged it, but it still had the upper hand, completely defeating these elite. So many people, but not a single one could pass through the blockade of the Wisdom Lord. It's actually so strong. Abel looked at the mechanical beast, feeling a little puzzled. It was clearly a toy-like thing. How could it display such terrifying combat power? The things of the Chinese were too strange. "Commander, what should we do?" Elizabeth stood at the side, feeling a little helpless. Before they could save the world, they had already been dissuaded by a monk's temple. How could they, the god's dusk, have any face left? The people from other countries are all trash. Abel sighed, lowered his voice, and said to Elizabeth, "I wanted to use them as cannon fodder, but I didn't expect them to be so weak. Now that things have come to this, we have to work together to break through this bronze Buddha." "Okay." Elizabeth glanced at the chaotic crowd, "but it's a mess here. Isn't it a little inconvenient? The Huaxia people have a saying, it's easy to fish in troubled waters." Abel chuckled, "We can use this opportunity to let these people attract the firepower for us. Anyway, the bronze Buddha won't really hurt them. You and I will take this opportunity to break through and establish the prestige of our empire." "All right. God help us." While Elizabeth had already witnessed the power of the bronze Buddha. She did not dare to underestimate this mechanical beast, so she adjusted the nanonuclei in her body. As the new generation of divine warriors created by the United States, Elizabeth also had 9 nanonuclei in her body, and the effects were 20% higher than Adam and Eve. In addition, in order to maximize their combat power, the Empire specially equipped them with the most elite nanoweapons for combat. Vulcan gloves. While Elizabeth's nanonucleus began to operate, and countless nanomachines suddenly flew out of a box at her waist and quickly gathered on her hands. Very quickly, a pair of huge scarlet boxing gloves wrapped around her hands, like the fists of a fire giant, looking very majestic and somewhat terrifying. "Let me help you," while Elizabeth shouted. Her appearance shook the spirits of the people from God's dusk. "Why, Elizabeth has made a move. We have hope. Let's fight the enemy together." Everyone roared as if Why Elizabeth was their savior, and Why Elizabeth's move was indeed extraordinary. She instantly jumped in front of the bronze Buddha with 2 balls of scarlet flames, and then smashed her fists at the bronze Buddha's head. Clang! The bronze Buddha stretched out its hand to block, but the attack was so powerful that the bronze Buddha was forced to take a step back. "Did you see that? This is the strength of an imperial warrior." Why Elizabeth was overjoyed. With the enhancement of the nano-weapons, the bronze Buddha was nothing. Maybe she could defeat this bronze Buddha. Vulcan's wrath. While Elizabeth's fists were burning with flames, and she clenched her fists together and punched at the bronze Buddha's hammer, Li Fan secretly shook his head when he saw this scene. This move was too barbaric. It was like adding strength to the fist and then punching out. There was no proper use of strength at all. It was like using a cannon to hit a mosquito. Westerners might be more powerful in other techniques, but in terms of moves and techniques, they could not be compared to the Chinese. Bang! Smack! Sure enough, the bronze Buddha suddenly raised its arm and blocked Why Elizabeth's attack. At the same time, its other 2 palms quickly hit Why Elizabeth's chest, and immediately sent her flying. The strength of this attack was not light. He didn't know how this mechanical beast did it, but each of its moves contained inner force. "Benefactors, since you can't defeat it, let's go back." Zen Master Tian Yin murmured. "I don't believe it." Abel roared and jumped out. He grabbed a bolt of lightning in his hand and threw it at the copper Buddha, BZZT. The blue lightning tore through the sky and instantly struck the mechanical beast. The bronze Buddha's body trembled slightly. Then, it raised its palm, and a gust of wind blew on Abel's body. Abel immediately slid out. It took him a long time to stabilize his feet. At the same time, his eyes were filled with shock. He didn't understand why he and Why Elizabeth couldn't even defeat a mechanical beast. Only Li Fan and Murong Ying understood that the mechanical beast had the strength of a half-sage at most. Although it was powerful, it was nothing. Abel and Why Elizabeth's strength was close to that of a half-sage. They might be considered strong in China, but they didn't know any moves. Their fighting style was crude, and it was a waste of their strength. How could they be a match for the bronze Buddha? Abel and Why Elizabeth fought the bronze Buddha together. Although the bronze Buddha's strength was not as strong as the 2 of them, it relied on its exquisite moves to prevent the 2 from successfully passing. If this continued, everyone would be defeated here. Abel was unwilling to give up. He turned his head and saw Li Fan watching from the side. Li Fan, you and I are allies. Aren't you going to help? Master Tian Yin said that this is for your own good. Li Fan shrugged his shoulders. Listen to the master's advice. Go back obediently. This is not a place you should be. Bastard, I think you're afraid. Cunning Huaxia people. Abel cursed angrily. You're treating my good intentions as ill intent. Li Fan shrugged. Since you don't want to listen, then forget it. Wait. Abel had no other choice. He directly said, what do you want before you're willing to help? Chapter 1400. I want a commission of 500 million. Li Fan stretched out 5 fingers and demanded an exorbitant price. Li Fan needed a large amount of money to return to the Li family island and build a small island. If he invested 500 million, it would be enough for a year's construction. After a year, Li Fan believed that everything on the Li family island would be on the right track. He would no longer have to worry about earning money. At that time, the small island would be open to tourism. It would be visa-free for all countries. There would definitely be an endless stream of tourists who would contribute to the island's construction. In addition, Li Fan relied on smuggling. He was originally a bodyguard, but it slowly developed into smuggling. In the future, Li Fan wanted to develop it into a formal sea trade. This way, he could earn more peace of mind. Li Fan dared to ask for an exorbitant price because he knew that Abel would agree. More accurately, the person behind him would agree. The Empire did not lack money, but they lacked powerful biological genes. Therefore, Abel and the others were determined to get the 9-tailed divine fox gene. If they could not get it, it would not only be a loss of $500 million. You are dreaming. Abel had the urge to vomit blood. This man was too greedy. He actually asked for 500 million. Was he so poor that he had gone crazy? It's fine if you don't agree. I won't force you. Li Fan laughed. I'm a businessman. You can take your time to think about it. Even if the business doesn't work out, I'll still be kind. As he said that, he sat on the chair beside him and watched the battle between them and the copper Buddha as if he was watching a show. Li Fan, think about it. Without our help, just the two of you will not be able to defeat this strange copper Buddha. Abel continued to threaten and lure. Only by cooperating with us can you pass its tests. Is that so? Li Fan chuckled. I don't think so. I'm a person who likes to try. Nonsense. Nonsense. What nonsense? Abel was about to collapse. How could he make the decision for this price? However, at this time, his superior officer gave an order. Agree to it. Abel was dumbfounded. He could even agree to this. $500 million, not $500 million. The higher-ups were too generous. Was this kid worth so much money? Master Tianyin, how's the vegetarian food in your monastery? Not bad. Our temple's master is very skilled. If you don't mind, you can stay here and eat vegetarian food. Master Tianyin put his palms together in front of Li Fan and praised his food. That's great. Thank you for your hospitality. Not at all. Benefactor, you are also a fated person. You don't have to be so polite. The two of them were talking and laughing, not taking Abel seriously at all. Abel was very angry in his heart. Did you come here just for a meal? This damned Li Fan, if I find a chance, I must kill him. Who asked him to be so arrogant? Li Fan, 500 million it is. We agree. Why Elizabeth looked at Abel in shock. How could this Li Fan be worth so much money? Transfer the money. Li Fan said an account number. In less than 3 minutes, Li Fan's satellite phone rang. Bai Lin Luo informed Li Fan that the money had been transferred. We have another condition. This money must not only be used to help us pass the bronze Buddha, but also to help us deal with the 9-tailed divine fox. Of course. Li Fan laughed. As long as there was money, it would be easy. The money has already been paid. Are you still not going to help? Why Elizabeth asked. Don't rush me. I'm coming. Li Fan waved his hand. Everyone else can leave. Don't disturb my work. Are you crazy? If we don't help you, how are you going to defeat the bronze Buddha alone? Why Elizabeth looked at Li Fan as if he was crazy. I have my ways. You can all leave. Li Fan waved his hand and let the motley crowd leave. If that's the case, everyone else can leave. Our Chinese friend is going to perform, Abel said sarcastically. Then, he led his people to the side. The bronze Buddha was there to stop the crowd from entering. Now that everyone had left, it quieted down. Do you need my help? Murong Ying held the autumn water sword and asked. No need. Watch your husband take care of this bronze Buddha. As Li Fan spoke, he held his spring wave sword and slowly walked towards the bronze Buddha. When Li Fan was within a meter of the bronze Buddha suddenly moved. 6 huge palms slapped towards Li Fan. However, Li Fan did not even open his eyes. Just like that, with his eyes closed, he casually walked through the gaps of the bronze Buddha's attack. The bronze Buddha struck out with its palms, but it only hit Li Fan's afterimage. Amid her, Zen Master Tian Yin couldn't help but feel shocked by Li Fan's martial arts realm. Only relying on inner force to sense the opponent's attack was not something an ordinary martial arts master could do. Even he couldn't do it, right? Abel and Elizabeth both had strange expressions. They thought that Li Fan would be easily repelled. They didn't expect him to be so relaxed. The opponent couldn't even hit him. If that was the case, it was indeed easy for him to pass through the bronze Buddha. Hey, don't just hide. Don't forget that you're helping us pass through. Sure. Li Fan suddenly unsheathed his spring wave sword. A few white lights flashed in the air. In an instant, Li Fan stabbed out 6 times. Pa, pa, pa. After 6 crisp sounds, the bronze Buddha's 6 arms were all broken. Dragon ascends to the 9 heavens. Li Fan stabbed out with his sword one last time, bringing with it an intense sword energy that directly shattered the head of the copper Buddha. The bronze Buddha fell to the ground with a thud. It had already lost its ability to move. It had really become a pile of scrap metal. After he finished his move, he retreated and sat back on the chair. He also placed the spring wave sword on the table as if he had never attacked. Abel and Elizabeth were dumbfounded. He actually did what he said. He even destroyed the bronze Buddha. Oh my God! I must have seen wrongly. That Hua Xia person is actually so powerful. Everyone exclaimed. They were all shocked by Li Fan's methods. What method did you use? I didn't see it clearly. Let's try. Master Tian Q seemed a little unconvinced. He picked up his long rod and walked towards Li Fan. But before he could take a step, a cold long sword was already pointed at his throat. Murong Ying stood at the side, holding the autumn water sword. Her eyes were cold. You have already lost. Li Fan said embarrassedly, Master Tian Yin, you can't be thinking of reneging on the debt, right? Young almsgiver's skills are unfathomable. This old monk naturally admires you. Master Tian Yin put his palms together and murmured, and this female almsgiver beside you. If the 2 of you join forces, I'm afraid no one in my temple can defeat you. Murong Ying was a little happy. She was the kind of person who couldn't take compliments. If you want to pass, this old monk has no objections. But Chapter 1401. It's just that, these people can't go. Zen Master Tianyin pointed at the other people of the God's Dusk. Why? Old monk, you said that there's no limit to the number of people who can pass. Are you regretting it now? Abel looked at Zen Master Tianyin in annoyance. Wasn't this monk a little too annoying? Even if he regretted it, it was too late. He had to bring these cannon fodder to the 9-tailed divine fox. Without these people, Abel didn't even think it would be easy to restrict Li Fan. He had already spent all 500 million. If Li Fan regretted it, it would be terrible. Amitabha. You are not strong enough. Even if you go, you will die for sure. We Buddhists are here to save all living beings. Although it's important to vanquish demons, we can't let you die for nothing. So long-winded. Anyway, rules are rules. You are a monk. Didn't they say that monks can't lie? Buddha said that if I don't go to hell, who will? Zen Master Tianyin and his two juniors, Tian Qiu and Tian Wang, blocked the main gate of the demon ceiling hill. Ha! The 18 monks also took out their long rods and aimed at them. Funny. You want to stop us? Just you monks? Abel laughed. He didn't care about these monks at all. Now that the traps were gone, what else could they do? Let's go. Let these ignorant monks know how powerful we are. Abel looked at these monks as if they were facing a great enemy, and guessed that they were afraid of him. He and Elisabeth took the lead and led the others to rush through. At this moment, the motley crowd became excited again. They all roared and rushed towards Zen Master Tianyin and the others. But at this moment, Zen Master Tianyin's originally gentle eyes suddenly exploded with two beams of light. From Li Fan's point of view, it was like seeing the two high beams of the other party's headlights at night, which made people feel uneasy. Roar! The old monk suddenly let out a lion's roar. A powerful inner force exploded and directly hit these people. Other than Abel and Elisabeth, everyone was instantly blown away and fell everywhere. What? Abel looked at his companions who were blown away, and his heart shook. Not only the cannon fodder, but even he himself was blown a few meters away. If he hadn't stuck his spear into the ground, he would have been sent flying. Elisabeth was also grabbing the ground with her glove. Her fingers had already pierced into the floor. The two of them looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Unbelievable. Is this even possible? The old monk was actually so ferocious. What should he do? Amitabha. Zen Master Tianyin stood there and said, "Everyone, please wait a moment. Li Fan, you've been paid." Abel had no choice but to turn to Li Fan for help again. He was also somewhat annoyed that he couldn't even beat a monk. Li Fan could clearly see that this old monk was also a half-sage. His two senior and junior brothers should be about the same level. As for the 18 martial monks around him, their strength should be at the level of a grandmaster. However, when they joined forces, they seemed to form a strange formation that could strengthen each other's skills. These people added together seemed to be to deal with him and Murong Ying. As for Abel and the others, although they were strong, their fighting strength was not good. Alright, I've been paid to eliminate disasters for others. Li Fan once again picked up his spring wave sword. Zen Master Tianyin looked at Li Fan with a serious expression. "Benefactor, if you act rashly, this sin will fall on you." "Why? I'm only doing things for money." Li Fan blinked his eyes and pretended not to understand. "Benefactor's wisdom is like a torch. Naturally, you know what this old monk means." The old monk stared at Li Fan without blinking. "If you act, you'll be sending them to their deaths. Benefactor, why bear this sin? Ha, didn't you just say, if I don't go to hell, who will?" Amitabha. Benefactor's eloquence is beyond this old monk's reach. However, if Benefactor wants to force his way through, this old monk will make you stay even if I have to sacrifice my life. "What, you won't let me pass?" "Benefactors, you too are free to come and go. This old monk will not stop you. However, these people really can't. Sigh, since it's like this, I'll defeat you first." Li Fan waved his hand and pulled out his sword, pointing it at the old monk. "Li Fan of the Seven Knights Villa challenges your esteemed temple. Amitabha, since it's like this, please enlighten me." Zen Master Tianyin brought his fellow disciples and 18 martial monks to face Li Fan together. Li Fan held his spring wave sword and suddenly stepped forward. His body was like a bolt of lightning, quickly rushing towards Zen Master Tianyin. Ha! Zen Master Tianyin did the same thing. He directly opened his mouth and roared. A lion's roar was unleashed towards Li Fan. However, Li Fan directly slashed with his sword. A powerful sword chi was instantly brought up and actually cut the old monk's sound wave in half. However, Zen Master Tianyin seemed to have already expected this. He stood there and together with the two Zen masters beside him, once again let out a lion's roar. Roar. The three lions' roars merged together. The powerful inner force swept up the sound wave and came even faster and fiercer. Li Fan actually did not have time to slash in advance. His body was directly sent flying by the lion's roar and landed far away. Behind him, 18 martial monks had already been waiting for a long time. These 18 martial monks all roared and the long staffs in their hands turned into a ball, striking at Li Fan together. These 18 monks attacked together with an astonishing aura, faintly carrying the sound of wind and thunder. Clang! Li Fan turned around and in a short instant, he stabbed more than 10 times, forcibly knocking away all the long staffs of the martial monks. Then, he flipped again, his body hanging above the heads of these martial monks. Flying Dragon Flurry. In the blink of an eye, Li Fan stabbed out another 18 times. Each sword accurately pierced the wrist of a martial monk, causing them to throw away the long staffs in pain. The 18 martial monks silently retreated to the side and did not say a word. They knew that Li Fan had already shown mercy. If he did not stab their wrists but their throats, these martial monks would have already gone to see Buddha. Amitabha, Zen Master Tian Yin could not help but praise, "Benefactor, what a beautiful sword art. I wonder what kind of sword art Benefactor is practicing. Which sect did you learn from? 12 dragon subduing swords." Li Fan smiled, "I do not have a master. It is a sword art I created myself. I have embarrassed myself in front of all the masters." Amitabha, Zen Master Tian Yin finally had a look of surprise. "I did not expect Benefactor to have such a perception at such a young age. You have created such a powerful sword art. Master, you flatter me." Li Fan cupped his hands. "Compared to Master's pure and heavy lion's raw divine art, this little trick of mine is not worth mentioning." At that moment, the third Zen master, Master Tian Wang, who had been silent all this time, suddenly reached out with his right hand from his sleeve. Like an eagle's claw, he grabbed Li Fan's sword. Master Tian Wang's palm was like steel. He grabbed Li Fan's sword empty-handed, but he was unscathed. At the same time, he twisted his hand and snatched Li Fan's sword away. "Dragon Claw? Almsgiver Li, I'm sorry." The 3 Zen masters were greatly energized. With Li Fan's sword sent flying, he naturally could not use his sword technique. But at that moment, Li Fan took a horse stance and directly struck out with his palm. Black Dragon Ice Palm, overturning the heavens and stirring the seas, 100% power. A powerful palm pressure directly sent the 3 eminent monks flying. The 3 hurriedly stabilized their footsteps, but Li Fan quickly approached them using the dragon traversing the 9 heavens. Each of them added another palm strike, causing them to fall to the ground. "Sorry." Li Fan stretched out his hand, and the spring wave sword immediately flew up and inserted itself into the scabbard that Li Fan was holding. "I'm actually most proficient in palm techniques." Even though the 3 of them were enlightened eminent monks, they were a bit speechless. He was already very powerful, yet he was still so black-bellied and secretly hid a move. "Are the 3 of you convinced?" Li Fan stood there and stabbed with both hands. Immediately, a sword mark appeared on the ground. "Swordless realm." The 3 eminent monks were completely convinced. So even without a sword, Li Fan was still able to unleash powerful sword techniques. The attack just now was because Li Fan had purposely held back. "Your martial arts are very powerful." This monk is impressed. Zen Master Tian Yin clasped his hands together and said to Li Fan, "If you insist on bringing them to hell, then step over this monk's dead body." With that, Zen Master Tian Yin and his 2 junior brothers sat cross-legged in front of the door, blocking the path of the crowd. "Master, isn't this a bit inappropriate?" Li Fan was a bit speechless. "Isn't this acting like a scoundrel?" "Amitabha. We can't just watch these people die. Everyone, except for these 2, please go back." "Li Fan, it seems that we can only kill these eminent monks." Abel's face sank. In order to save the world, someone has to be sacrificed. Li Fan glanced at Abel, and a trace of murderous light flashed in his eyes, causing Abel to subconsciously tremble. This Li Fan. Damn, why am I afraid of him? It must be an illusion. "Everyone who wants to go, stand behind me." Li Fan thought of a plan in an instant, and he loudly ordered. The people of Gods of Dusk did not dare to hesitate, and they all stood behind Li Fan, waiting for his instructions. Abel and Elisabeth looked at each other and decided to listen to Li Fan's orders first. This monk and my 3 junior brothers are here, don't even think about passing. Zen Master Tian Yin's expression was solemn, and he was determined to guard this place. Zen Master Tian Yin, I'm sorry. Li Fan raised his internal force, and a majestic yuan qi continuously surged in his body. At this moment, a circular wave of air appeared under his feet, and this wave continued to expand, quickly filling the entire room. Many people, in this wave of air, were somewhat unable to stand steadily. A golden dragon's aura faintly appeared behind Li Fan, and its eyes were wide open, as if a real heavenly dragon had descended to the earth. This is the true dragon qi. Zen Master Tian Yin's eyes couldn't help but widen a little. Your realm has actually reached this level, entering the Tao with martial arts. This was not a symbol of strength, but a realm. Li Fan was already a saint rank expert, and at this moment, his realm was stepping on the threshold of the Tao of martial arts. This true dragon qi was the projection of Li Fan's realm. The true dragon qi twisted a little, and the dragon opened its 4 golden dragon claws, while Li Fan's yuan qi had been raised to the limit. He raised one hand, and suddenly pointed forward. At the same time, a dragon roar came out of Li Fan's mouth. Roar. War dragon roar. Zen Master Tian Yin and the others were already prepared, and this roar would definitely not make them retreat. However, with Li Fan's roar, the faces of the 3 Zen masters immediately changed. Chapter 1403. In an instant, their bodies froze. Their vision turned pitch black, and they couldn't hear anything other than a buzzing sound. Li Fan's roar actually made the 3 of them lose their 5 senses. The people present were not fools. The moment Li Fan pointed, they all rushed out. When the 3 Zen masters came to their senses, only Li Fan and his wife were left in the meditation room. I'm sorry. I've already sent those people over. Li Fan looked at the 3 Zen masters who had just regained their senses. He clasped his hands together and apologized. I've taken someone's money to eliminate a calamity. This is something that can't be helped. I hope the 3 Zen masters can forgive me. Amitabha, Zen Master Tian Yin's expression was somewhat old. He let out a long sigh. This old monk's skills are not as good as others. The Dharma is also not good. I wanted to redeem people but failed. This matter, blame it on my crooked ways. Li Fan shrugged. Even if you want to go to hell, leave it to me. Young benefactor, do you not believe in Buddha? Zen Master Tian Yin suddenly asked. Does it matter whether I believe or not? Li Fan laughed. Maybe Buddha really exists, but it's useless to pray to Buddha. If it's useful, why would I come all the way here? Perhaps those people will die because they asked for it. In the words of Buddhism, the sins they committed in their previous life will be repaid in this life. Amitabha, sin, don't sin. If this 9-tailed divine fox were to come into being, it would not only be these dozens of people who would die. Li Fan reminded him, if you want to redeem people, save them first. After he finished speaking, he no longer cared about these monks and lifted his feet to walk out. Li Fan was no longer a greenhorn. In this world, wanting to be polite and wanting to be a good person would always conflict. For his own benefit, Li Fan could only give up being a good person. Rather than protecting these people who wanted to harm him, it was better to make money to support his island. Li Fan was not a good person. He would not have the slightest sympathy for people like Abel. When they were destroying the island's ecology, they didn't show any mercy. Li Fan and Murong Ying left the room. In front of them was a long corridor. Abel and Murong Ying didn't even wait for Li Fan. They had already gone far away. These people are truly heartless. Murong Ying snorted coldly. It's fine. I like to earn money from heartless people. Li Fan laughed, causing Murong Ying to roll her eyes. This kid was too proud of himself. Shall I call you Moneybags Li from now on? Haha. Little girl, be good. I'll take care of you from now on. Sure, transfer 400 million to me. Well, I think you're a strong woman. How could you be willing to let me keep you? Me. Murong Ying rolled her eyes, then turned around to walk away. At this time, the 3 Buddhist monks followed them out. Amitabha, benefactors, please wait. What's wrong, master? Are we going to eat vegetarian food? Li Fan laughed. It's fine. We're not hungry. We'll come back to eat after dealing with that 9-tailed divine fox. Amitabha. It's probably karma. Master Tianyin seemed to have accepted it. Our Sky Dragon Temple has guarded the demon sealing hill for thousands of years. Slaying demons is our temple's duty. Therefore, the 3 of us have decided to follow you 2 to the demon sealing hill to deal with the 9-tailed divine fox that is about to be born. It's good that Master has accepted it. Li Fan let out a sigh of relief. By the way, I have something to ask Master. Young benefactor, please ask away. Why do you call it 9-tailed divine fox? Logically speaking, shouldn't such a peerless devil be called a demon fox or a devil fox? So that's the question. Master Tianyin nodded. Since young benefactor has such a question, I will answer it. But before that, I want to tell you a story. Young benefactor, it's a bit long, please be patient. Alright, it looks like the divine fox won't be coming out for a while. Let's listen. Then please go to the meditation room. Our Sky Dragon Temple has grown some tea leaves. Please have a taste. Alright, thank you. Li Fan and Murong Ying returned to Master Tianyin's room. As for those who went to the demon sealing hill, Li Fan couldn't be bothered. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Li Fan wanted to know more about the 9-tailed divine fox before fighting her. When they returned to the meditation room, the novice monk brought them some fragrant tea. Li Fan tasted it and found it tasted pretty good. But it was still a bit lacking compared to the medicinal tea of their villa. Benefactor Li, do you know that there's a saying in Buddhism called the 3,000 worlds? Ah, I do know a little about it. Li Fan nodded. The Buddhists often said that there was a world in a flower and a body in a leaf. Although Li Fan wasn't well versed in Buddhism, he had heard Murong Ying mention it when he was chatting. That's right. 3,000 worlds. 3,000 is just an estimate. The Buddhists believe that there are many other worlds apart from ours. Ah, you mean, plane? Li Fan vaguely understood what the monk meant. Planes? That's a flat world. Oh, that's a good description. Master Tianyin nodded. Different planes form the 3,000 world. The story I'm about to tell happened in another world. Please enlighten me, Master. The other world is different from our world. In that world, mortals can cultivate. I heard that there are a few cultivation sects that help humans cultivate immortal techniques and head to the immortal world. Damn, there's even such a joke. Li Fan was slightly shocked. He felt envious. Damn. He trained so hard, but the other party directly became an immortal. Hehe, little benefactor, you don't have to be envious. Even immortal cultivation isn't that easy. The amount of effort they put into this is 10 times, or even 100 times more than yours. And after becoming an immortal, mortals have to experience a terrifying heavenly tribulation. Immortal cultivation is originally going against the heavens. Seeing that you are cultivating, the heavens will reward you with 9 bolts of heavenly lightning. Those who can survive this heavenly tribulation can be counted on one's fingers. Damn, so there's such a mystery. Li Fan was speechless. This wasn't fun anymore. How could humans withstand the might of heavenly lightning? Yes, that's just the premise. In that world, there's an ultimate protector called the Great Cosmos God. What? Li Fan's expression changed. Great Cosmos God. Where did he hear this name before? Chapter 1404. Li Fan is slightly shocked. Where did I hear the name Cosmos God before? He suddenly recalls that back then when he mistakenly entered Le Xiaohu's different space, he had once met such a brother who claimed to be a Cosmos God. Is Monk Tianyin talking about the world that he is in? Monk, is that Cosmos God called Liu Aigua? Li Fan asks. Liu Aigua? Not really. Monk Tianyin shakes his head. The Cosmos God that this monk knows is called Liu Yi. Liu Yi. Li Fan has never heard of this name before and does not know who he is. That's right. After this, Liu Yi became a cosmos god. He is unable to return to the human world and was forced to separate from his beloved, the heavenly fox Lin Tong. Lin Tong was completely disheartened, so she decided to adopt a little fox demon and imparted all of her supernatural powers to the little fox demon. Based on Lin Tong's intention, she hopes that this small fox demon will one day replace her beloved Liu Yi and become the new generation cosmos god. What you mean is that the cosmos god is replaced from generation to generation. If one wishes to leave that space, one must wait for the next one. Li Fan recalls what Liu Aigua had said to him and instantly understands. That's right. Benefactor's guess is correct. If one wishes to become a supreme god, one must pay such a price. This can be considered as a kind of karma. But that Lin Tong is too selfish. To let other people replace her beloved and go to jail. Amitabh her. Since ancient times, love is hard to break. Monk Tian Yin sighs and continues to say, Heavenly Fox Lin Tong is considered to be very intelligent. But she did not expect that this small fox demon's heart would be moved by another man during her cultivation. Since Heavenly Fox Lin Tong is so intelligent, could it be that she did not calculate this? It is very obvious that a fox girl is full of affection. Lin Tong indeed calculated this. That is why she brought this small fox demon by her side since young and did not let her come into contact with men. But unexpectedly, a man accidentally barged into the space that Lin Tong created and hooked away this small fox demon's heart. What the heck? Who is so fierce? This person is called Luo Lian, a demon king from another world. Luo Lian. Li Fan felt that this name was very familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere before. However, Luo Lian has a licentious nature and is not devoted to women. It has harmed this young fox demoness. In order to be with Luo Lian, the little fox had even betrayed Lin Tong, who had raised her, by shattering the void and arriving in Luo Lian's world. In the end, Luo Lian doted on many concubines. The little fox demoness' love turned into hatred. She decided to ally with the gods of the heavenly realm to deal a fatal blow to Luo Lian, causing her to perish. I don't think little fox demoness can be blamed for this. Li Fan voiced out his thoughts. Luo Lian can be considered a hero in his own right, but he fell in love with everyone he saw. In the end, he died at the hands of a woman. That's right. As the saying goes, everything is predetermined. Upon hearing Li Fan's words, Master Heavenly Yin nodded in satisfaction. However, the young fox demoness' hatred is deep, but her love is even deeper. After Luo Lian perished, the young fox demoness regretted it. She tried to reverse the starry sky to save her lover, but she failed. Instead, she accidentally fell into our space. Oh! So this nine-tailed divine fox is the young fox demoness that Master mentioned? Li Fan had already guessed a few things. That's right. Zen Master Heavenly Yin nodded. That divine fox has a kind nature. After she came here, she was doing very well. Suddenly, one day, for some unknown reason, she swore to destroy all life in this world. Ah! Li Fan was puzzled. What's the reason? The seniors did not know. The divine fox did not mention it either. In the end, to protect humanity, the seniors joined forces with the sacred beasts to seal the divine fox. However, the seal would loosen once every 1,000 years. Therefore, at that time, the 4 sacred beasts would come and join forces to strengthen the seal, allowing the divine fox to continue staying in the demon sealing hill. Everyone respects her as the divine fox. Why is this place called the demon sealing hill? That's because this is the place where the fiend king is sealed. The 4 sacred beasts could only borrow the power of this place to seal her. I see. Li Fan finally understood the cause and effect of the matter. However, he could not understand why the divine fox would want to destroy the world. Amitabh her. This old monk has already explained the matter to you. This is the legendary nine-tailed divine fox. You already know what happened to her in the past. What happens in the future depends on you. All right. I would like to see what kind of abilities this nine-tailed divine fox has. Li Fan slammed the table and stood up. He was filled with battle intent. Benefactor, it's good to be brave, but don't be careless. Master Heavenly Yin voiced out his worries. Benefactor, I know that you are a sacred beast. However, that divine fox should be a god-tier expert. The difference in combat strength cannot be made up for with talent. God-tier. This is the first time I've heard of such an expert. Li Fan became even more excited. Just nice. I want to see how strong this god-tier is. Li Fan's fearlessness made Master Heavenly Yin smile bitterly. If that's the case, Benefactor, please. Master Heavenly Yin stood up again. It's about time. She should wake up. Oh right, Master, before I came here, I met a woman who claimed to be passionate. Who is she? Passionate. Master Heavenly Yin seemed to have never heard of this name. This old monk has never heard of this name. Is she related to our island? She said that she is from here. Chapter 1405. The old monk's words are very shocking. That Zai Qing is actually the 9 clones of the 9-tailed divine fox. Then this matter is even more fishy. This woman found me and took away the hero's medallion. What does she mean? I'm afraid it's not good. For the first time, Murong Ying revealed a worried expression as she looked at Li Fan. This woman only has 9 clones, but she already has such terrifying strength. If it was her own body, who knows what kind of ability she would have. This is even more interesting. Li Fan sneered a few times. Zai Qing, since you want to know me so much, then let's get to know each other. My wife, come with me and meet this amorous fox. En. Murong Ying followed beside Li Fan, suddenly thought of something and said, you can understand, but don't let that fox girl seduce your soul. Haha, I, Li Fan, am not that thirsty. Is there a need for that? Li Fan laughed loudly, causing Murong Ying to roll her eyes. Your mouth is powerful. When we see that fox girl, if you look at her too much, I will dig out your eyes. Ayo, my alliance leader, why are you so jealous? You were not like this in the past. I was like this in the past. Murong Ying said proudly, you still have to get to know me better. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Murong is right. This young man will do his best to understand you inside and out. It's good that you know. How could Murong Ying understand the meaning behind Li Fan's words? She thought that Li Fan really admired her. 2 benefactors, this way please. Zen Master Tian Yin led the 2 of them through the corridor and arrived at a small valley at the back. The valley is said to be concave, but in the middle, there is a protruding hill. Beside it, there are 8 huge swords. Each sword is 10 meters tall and 2 meters wide. On top of each sword, there is a person sitting. There are a total of 6 men and 2 women, each of them looks very powerful. All 8 of them pointed a finger at the hill in front of them. There were a total of 8 golden halos on the hill, trapping the legendary 9-tailed divine fox. On the side, Abel and his group were also there. These people didn't seem to dare to step forward. They could only look at the demon ceiling array from afar. Tian Yin. As if sensing Zen Master Tianin's arrival, a middle-aged man at the southern sword position spoke slowly. You are an outer disciple. According to the rules, you are not allowed to enter the valley. Don't tell me that you've lived for so long that you've forgotten this rule. Amitabha. Zen Master Tian Yin said lightly, how could this old monk dare to forget this rule? But now that the challenger has entered the valley, I will naturally accompany him. Challenger? With this bunch of trash? A woman sneered, Tianyin, what kind of monk are you? I think your cultivation is for naught. You actually let these guys in. Ridiculous, ridiculous. Barker. You're talking nonsense, A ninja from an island country was immediately enraged when he heard these humiliating words. They were all elites from various countries. In their countries, they were treated with respect. They had never been treated like this before. Just as the proud ninja was about to curse, the woman who spoke opened her cherry mouth and spat out a bolt of lightning. Pu. A palm-sized lightning sword flew out from her mouth and instantly pierced the ninja's chest. Bang! In the end, The ninja's body directly exploded. Blue lightning arcs spread in all directions. Everyone was so shocked that they hurriedly moved away, afraid that they would be caught in the crossfire. Abel and Elizabeth's expressions became more and more ugly. Why did they encounter a group of troublesome evil spirits before they even saw the nine-tailed divine fox? What kind of technique did this Chinese woman use? Only Li Fan could see that it was the Heaven's lightning sword. The dragon lady had taught him this technique before. Amitabha, Zen Master Tian Yin couldn't help but sigh, a great disaster is imminent. Why do you all have to kill more? You old monk, what does this have to do with you? The woman's temper was a bit unruly. This kind of trash, so be it. If it wasn't for the fact that I had to conserve my power to suppress this fox, I wouldn't have let anyone here go. Heh, what a big temper. Li Fan held the spring wave sword and stood at the edge of the valley. He pointed at the unruly woman in red and said to Murongying, "My wife, look, I found someone with a bigger temper than you. Go die." Murongying didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How is my temper big? What nonsense are you spouting? Go die. The unruly woman became angry and glared at Li Fan. At the same time, she opened her sexy little mouth and spat out another lightning sword. However, Li Fan did not think much of it. He slapped the lightning sword away with his palm. Bang! The lightning sword hit the stone wall at the side, causing a huge hole to appear in the stone wall. This kind of power scared the experts of the various countries. Only Li Fan's expression didn't change, as if nothing happened. But that unruly woman's attack wasn't without power. Li Fan's palm was still faintly emitting green smoke. Who exactly are you? Seeing that Li Fan was able to easily block her attack, the unruly woman and the others were somewhat shocked. Amitabha. Elders, these two are the challengers. The old monk hurriedly introduced, the two of them have unfathomable power. They can add strength to the seal this time. It's just two saint-level experts. What's there to be surprised about? The unruly woman curled her lips. Which one of us isn't a saint-level expert? Furthermore, with the few of us here, even the sacred beast doesn't need to come. That fox won't be able to escape. Why would there be a need for this person to meddle? Quickly send him away. Chapter 1406. Hong Mai, Huang Shan, and the others were all dragon warriors with countless years of history behind them. Because of their bloodlines and accusations, these 8 dragon warriors had been sitting here all this time, guarding the nine-tailed divine fox. They hadn't even taken a step out of the demon sealing hill, let alone Demon Island. After thousands of years, some of them had twisted personalities, while others had begun to despair. The dragon race was divided into 4 types: wind, fire, rain, and lightning. Among them, rain was also called water. The gentle Huang Shan was a member of the water race. She also cultivated a water-type mental cultivation method, so she had a gentle personality. Even after thousands of years, she was still as kind and gentle as ever. Hong Mai, we're all here to help. How can you say that? But, Hong Mai wanted to say something else, but the middle-aged man beside her scolded her. Hong Mai, shut up. Calm the heart and suppress the demon. Yes, this man seemed to be the leader of the 8. Amitabha, this old monk will introduce these 8 elders to everyone. Zen Master Heaven Sound pointed at each of them and introduced them one by one. This is the first elder and chief dragon warrior, Jin Yang. These 2 are Hong Mai and Huang Shan, followed by Qingfeng, Lanz, Baihua, Xuanye, and Lui. Each of the 8 dragon warriors had a color in their name. Similarly, there was a mark of the same color on their foreheads, as if to symbolize them. After Zen Master Heaven Sound's introduction, only Huang Shan nodded lightly at Li Fan and the others to show her respect. As for the other dragon warriors, Hong Mai harumphed coldly. The others, including Chief Jin Yang, all closed their eyes and remained silent, as if their only thoughts were on suppressing the demon. Little friends, you're so young, but you've already cultivated to such a level. You're truly talented. Huang Shan couldn't help but praise Li Fan. At the same time, she cast a look of admiration at the others. I've cultivated for thousands of years to reach this level. Big Sister Huang, you flatter me. I've only reached this level because of luck and coincidence. Li Fan cupped his hands. As the saying went, one shouldn't slap a smiling face. Since this beauty Huang Shan was being so polite, his attitude naturally softened a lot. Little brother, you said that we failed to suppress the demons. Why do you say that? Huang Shan's eyes were filled with affection, her gaze never leaving Li Fan, causing Li Fan's heart to race. No matter where he was, being noticed by a beautiful woman would make him happy. Amitabha. Benefactor, please tell me the truth. Zen Master Tian Yin sighed, his voice filled with worry. Tian Yin, you've lived for more than 300 years. Why are you so worried about personal gains and losses? Hong Mai couldn't help but mock him. Li Fan was secretly surprised. This old monk was already over 300 years old. 300 years old? Why, Elizabeth exclaimed, you're the birthday girl. It's just an empty job. Zen Master Heaven Note shook his head. Furthermore, this island is filled with outstanding people and is nourished by the divine fox's immortal chi. It's not rare for anyone on this island to have a lifespan of 300 to 500 years. His words shocked everyone present. The path of longevity. Who would be willing to die? Who wouldn't want to live for a few more years? But other than the legendary Parker family, no matter how powerful the rest of them were, they couldn't escape the curse of short life. Humans only had a lifespan of 100 years. It wasn't short, but it wasn't long either. After all, a house's property rights lasted for 70 years. From the beginning of humans, they went to school for 20 years, worked for 20 years, and spent the rest of their time taking care of their children. By the time their children settled down and started a career, they were already in their later years. This kind of time was too short. But if they could double or triple their lifespan, what would it be like? Thinking of this, they couldn't help but feel excited. This wasn't a demon island, this was a treasure island. There was a true path of longevity here. No wonder the people on this island were willing to call that demon the divine fox. Although she was a disaster, she was also the guardian of this island. Everyone looked at each other and saw the ecstasy in each other's eyes. This is great. Through the monitor, the imperial officer who saw this scene was also ecstatic. This was a discovery that transcended the era. He could rely on this to become the president, the greatest president in the history of the empire, because he had found a future for the entire human race. This 500 million is worth it. Worth it. The officer was hugging the screen and kissing it. So lucky. I'm so lucky. It seemed like even God was helping him. Don't worry, officer, I will definitely complete your mission. Receiving the officer's instruction, Abel nodded and secretly released a nano-robot. At this time, Li Fan revealed the news of love. Fox's clone. Hong Mai didn't believe what Li Fan said at all. Are you kidding? With our 8-ring map here, how could a fox's clone come out? Little brother, this matter you're talking about is really too shocking. Even if I believe it, I can't guarantee the authenticity of your news to others. The beauty Huang Shan seemed to believe a little. How about this? You come to my side and feel the breath of this 9-tailed fox. Is it the same as the woman you met? Oh, okay. Li Fan immediately nodded and was about to step forward, but Murong Ying pulled him back. Are you crazy? This is the demon ceiling hill, there are dangers everywhere. Yes, I will be careful. Li Fan nodded, but whether love is the fox's clone or not, I still have to check it myself. You are not allowed to go. Why are you so timid? We're in a dangerous business. Li Fan was extremely confident. How can there be no danger in saving the world? If you are afraid, just stand here, I will go see for myself. As Li Fan spoke, he used his qinggong and quickly rushed towards the beauty Huang Shan. At this time, Jin Yang, who was originally closed in meditation, suddenly opened his eyes. Brother, come here quickly and feel it. The beauty Huang Shan's smile was as gentle as spring, it could melt a person's bones. He's here. Li Fan lightly landed next to the beauty Huang Shan and stepped on the hilt of the sword. But at this time, A strong suction force pulled Li Fan's body. Brother, you are really a good person. The beauty Huang Shan smiled even more happily. This demon sealing hill not only seals the fox, but also seals us. 8 holy level masters, not one can be missing. Since you entered the array for me, then I will go out. If there is a chance in the future, I will repay you, hey. Chapter 1407. What an idiot. Hong Mai couldn't help but sigh. Huang Shan has waited for thousands of years, and finally such an idiot came. So what if he's a saint? In this demon sealing hill, he's just like a pig and a dog, easily slaughtered. When the others saw this, they were all gloating. This damned Chinese, he finally received God's punishment. Bastard. Murong Ying unsheathed her autumn water sword, preparing to grab Huang Shan, who was about to escape. But at this time, a hand gently hugged her waist from behind. Murong Ying trembled slightly, then calmed down. You are so mischievous. Ha, I was afraid that the 8 of them would be bored, so I played with them. Li Fan whispered into Murong Ying's ear. This intense male scent caused Murong Ying to blush. Let me go, she struggled lightly, but Li Fan knew that she was thin-skinned, so he didn't act too presumptuously and let her go. Murong Ying heaved a sigh of relief, but she was also slightly disappointed. What? Huang Shan saw Li Fan in the distance, and her face paled. She looked at Li Fan, who was on the sword, but the latter turned into a wisp of green smoke and disappeared in front of Huang Shan. Huang Shan collapsed, kneeling heavily on the sword hilt. Her body trembled uncontrollably, her face twisted, laughing wildly one moment, then crying the next. The other dragon warriors around her just looked at her. None of them spoke up to stop her. In the past thousands of years, which one of them hadn't experienced such a moment? He allowed Huang Shan to go crazy for a full 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, she seemed to have calmed down. Huang Shan, suppress the demon. Yes. Huang Shan stretched out her hand, once again condensing a golden halo, suppressing the demon sealing hill. This demon sealing hill is indeed an interesting place. Li Fan couldn't help but comment. Yeah, it is indeed interesting. Little handsome, won't you consider staying here with me? At this moment, a beautiful woman in white suddenly appeared on the small hill. She stood barefoot in the air, tilting her head to look at Li Fan and asked. Her eyes were full of lust and ripples. The appearance of this woman shocked the 8 dragon warriors, Zen Master Heaven Sound, and the others as if they were facing a great enemy. 9-tailed divine fox. Is that really you? Jin Yang looked at the woman below with disbelief in his eyes. Yeah, you've been guarding him for so many years, how come you can't even recognize him? Fox demon. How did you get out? Hong Mai rebuked. You fools, why are you still so stupid after so many years? Zongqing blew a kiss to Li Fan. Even that handsome guy can see that I'm just a clone. You can also say that I'm just a projection. Although that fox is a monster, one thing is certain. She is an infatuated woman. Hong Mai mocked and ridiculed. I'm not like you, fickle and shameless. Pooh. Oh. Zongqing tilted her head and looked at Hong Mai. Do you really think so? Of course, you must be a little monster that came from somewhere and pretended to be a fox. Are you trying to confuse us? Hehe, you little girl, you really like to deceive yourself. Zongqing stretched her body. At that moment, she was extremely charming. Her languid posture and coquettish charm instantly killed all the men in the room. Even Zen Master Heaven Sound kept chanting amid her. You say I'm not infatuated? Not a divine fox? Okay, then I want to ask. Zongqing pointed at Hong Mai. Little girl, when you first came, you were a crybaby. At that time, you had to cry 3 times a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. Everyone tried their best to persuade you and make you happy. And now, are you still crying? Hong Mai's eyes widened. Oh, and you, the big sister in yellow. I remember that you were particularly shrewish at that time. Greenleaf would occasionally tease you verbally, but you would scold her until she was in a state of torment. And look at you today, TSK. I really can't recognize you. Huang Shan did not speak and only looked at Zongqing quietly. Oh, and Uncle Jin Yang. In the past, you were a chatterbox. Back then, when you were chatting, you went up to the heavens and down to the earth, chatting until everyone was annoyed, even I was annoyed. Now that things have come to this, I want to listen to you talk, but you don't like to talk anymore. You won't get anything out of it. Humph. Jin Yang snorted coldly and did not refute. And you, all of you, which one of you dares to say that when you first came, you were like this? After thousands of years, all of you have changed. Don't tell me that I, who was suppressed below, can't change. Everyone was rendered speechless by his words. All of you have changed, but I am the same as before. Isn't that too unfair? Zongqing's words made these people lower their heads, not even daring to look her in the eyes. Time not only destroyed me, it also destroyed you. Hihi, in these thousands of years, haven't I also seen your ugly side? Saying that, Zongqing's gaze fell on Li Fan again. Pointing at Huang Shan, she said, "Little handsome brother, if you are willing to help this woman guard the demon ceiling hill, I'm afraid she will be willing to give you the most intense service. She is eloquent and capable, I guarantee you will be satisfied." At this moment, many envious gazes were cast on them. After all, Huang Shan was indeed a peerless beauty, while Li Fan only had the strength of a saint. Other men did not even have the qualifications to be like moths flying into a flame. As if to prove this sentence, Huang Shan's enthusiastic gaze was cast over, looking very expectant. Without freedom, I would rather die. Li Fan only lightly said this sentence. Fuck, who are you looking down on? This daddy has a girl. This Murong Ying, as well as his imperial concubine Ju, Liu Wn and Murong Ari, which one of them is not a beauty of the highest quality? Especially Murong, this pair of beautiful sisters, who will serve him together in the future. This kind of happiness with multiple people, he did not enjoy it himself, but ran to the prison cannon for a one-time use. He must be dreaming. Little handsome brother, actually you are not losing out. Zongqing also did not know what to do, continuing to bewitch Li Fan. You are the same as others, people who have comprehended the avatar body. Even if your main body stays here to guard, your avatar can still go out. Zongqing, you keep bewitching me, what do you want? Li Fan waved his hand, cutting off Huang Shan's thoughts. In any case, you are a generation's divine fox, can't you have some integrity? What is integrity? Didn't you say it yourself? Without freedom, I would rather die. You desire freedom, how can I not? Hey, don't you have an avatar? Chapter 1408. Amorous eyes deepened as she stared at Li Fan. Her eyes seemed to have hooks on them as she tugged at Li Fan's head. Li Fan gathered his internal energy and Yuan Qi gathered in his eyes as he stared at Amorous without avoiding her gaze. Handsome boy, you're very smart. But those who are too smart often end up in a miserable state. Look at me and you'll know. Looks like you think you're smart. Li Fan hugged his sword and looked at Amorous below. Perhaps. No matter how smart I am, I can't predict the evil of human hearts. Amorous shrugged. You guessed right. Freedom is nothing to me. I can create 9 clones to escape the surveillance of these idiots and go out to play. But, like them, I also have responsibilities. Amorous pointed at the dragon warriors and said, Fate is so cruel. We bear such a fate, who can understand our bitterness? Must we kill them? Li Fan frowned and asked. Yes, we must kill them. Amorous nodded, and regardless of age, gender, they must all be killed. Not a single one can be left alive. Since that's the case, we're enemies. Li Fan said without hesitation, Amorous, don't be merciful. Don't worry, I've never been merciful. Amorous smiled. At that moment, it was as if thousands of flowers bloomed, causing all the men to stare at her. Even Zen Master Heaven Sound's eyes were slightly dull. What an amorous vixen. How many people could have such a myriad of amorous feelings? Ha! Li Fan's war dragon roar pulled everyone back from their daze. I didn't expect you to have dragon chi in your body. Amorous looked at Li Fan. You're the second special man I've met. Looks like I don't need to ask who the first person was. That's why I say it's not good for a person to be too smart. Zongqing lightly snorted. It's about time. Everyone present, you will be my sacrifice. Sure, come on. Li Fan accepted the challenge. You she-devil, don't even think about leaving this place. Hong Mai rebuked. Why not? Zongqing looked at Hong Mai indifferently. Only when I get out of here can you all be free. Bah. Hong Mai scolded. We are also sealed here. If you escape, we will also be killed by the backlash from the formation. Since that's the case, then go to hell. As Immerse spoke, she opened her arms and the surrounding power began to quickly gather towards her. The entire demon ceiling hill began to tremble, and even the entire island began to tremble. It was like an earthquake with a magnitude of 7 or 8, and the people around were all scared. This is too exaggerated. This woman, just what kind of strength does she have? Woo. A fox's howl came out of the Immerse mouth. Silence. Jin Yang stretched out his hands and led his companions to activate the demon suppression bracelet. 8 demon suppression bracelet pressed down, forcing Zongqing to squat on the ground. But Zongqing's mouth still hung a sneer, and her eyes were slowly filled with ridicule, as if she did not care about these people's oppression. Don't be so arrogant. Jin Yang glared at her, like a Vajra Arhat, mighty and extraordinary. With the 8 of us here, don't even think about coming out today. Not just today, but forever and ever, you will stay here. His voice carried endless anger. So many years of anger, at this moment, almost all of it erupted. If this woman did not cause trouble, if she did not destroy the world, they would have been a group of free people. All of this evil, was because of this woman, this vixen. Zongqing, thousands of years ago, you were sealed here. Thousands of years later, you will still be sealed here. Jin Yang seemed to be about to erupt with all of his anger. Looking at Zongqing, his eyes have turned blood red. Hehe, how can you blame me for this? Zongqing carried the 8 golden demon suppression bracelet, a sneer hanging on the corner of her mouth. It was your ancestors who threw you here to seal me. If you want to blame someone, shouldn't you blame them? All of you are guilty. Jin Yang's body could not help but tremble. No matter who it is, they will pay the price. One day, when you are completely refined into flesh and blood by this demon sealing formation, we will be able to leave. So, you are not allowed to go anywhere. Stay here. Jin Yang pushed his strength to the limit, and the demon suppression bracelet also lit up with a dazzling golden light. Everyone, follow me. Suppress the demon fox. An indistinct golden dragon appeared behind Jin Yang. It was the true dragon Qi. They were different from Li Fan. Half of them had dragon blood in them, so it was not strange that they had dragon Qi. Behind Jin Yang was a 5-clawed golden dragon, glaring angrily with the might of a divine dragon. 8 dragons suppression. Hong Mai, Huang Shan, and the others also activated their powers, pushing their strength to the limit. Behind them, the true dragon Qi also appeared. Behind Hong Mai was a crimson fire dragon. Flames were still coming out of its mouth, it was abnormally angry. And behind Huang Shan was an elegant light blue water dragon, its body emitting white cold air, its eyes shining with a deep light. Behind the 8 people, 8 true dragons appeared behind them, divided into 4 clans, all of them doing their best to suppress the demon fox that was about to be born. Zongqing's knees bent a little, her expression seemed to be in pain. Do you see? You demon fox. Jin Yang laughed heartily. This is your fate. You are not a match for the 8 of us. Even without the 4 sages, you still can't do it. Is that so? I still haven't recovered my strength. Zongqing smiled. In the next second, 8 rays of light suddenly appeared around them, and within the light was a beautiful woman in white. They were as fast as lightning, quickly rushing to Zongqing's side, then one by one, they merged into her body. Don't even think about it. Jin Yang roared again and again. He and his 7 companions pushed their strength to 120%. The 8 demon suppression rings suddenly linked together and smashed onto Zongqing's body. Zongqing's body was smashed into the ground, disappearing in front of everyone. Demon fox. This is your end. Jin Yang's eyes flashed with the joy of revenge. But in the next second, his expression turned into horror. This was because cracks were slowly appearing on the golden demon suppression hoop, as if it was a piece of glass that could shatter at any moment. At the same time, a huge wave of demonic chi spread out, instantly filling the surrounding. At this moment, those weaker than half-sage were all stunned, their eyes became somewhat gloomy. Chapter 1409. The demonic chi spread out. At that moment, everyone who wasn't a half-saint was stunned. Their eyes were filled with a sense of evil. Not good. Zen Master Tian Yin's face was ashen. It's the demonic chi of the godly fox. It turned these people into puppets. Without waiting for Zen Master Heaven's note to make a move, the elites from the various countries all jumped down the 100-meter-tall demon ceiling hill as if they were on drug. Normally, 100 meters wouldn't be a problem for these elites. But at this moment, it became the gap between life and death. Bang, bang, bang. Like dumplings, they all fell to their deaths on the demon ceiling hill. Blood instantly dyed the hill red. It was like a blood-red flower had bloomed. It was beautiful and evil. Damn it. Hong Mai couldn't help but curse. Tian Yin, it's all because of you, you piece of trash. You sent these pieces of trash and let them use their blood to pave the way for the fox monster. Abel and Elizabeth were also dumbfounded. The two of them stood on the cliff, trembling. Under the suppression of the demonic chi, even standing seemed to be a little difficult. At this moment, they finally understood how scary this nine-tailed godly fox was. No, what nine-tailed godly fox? Looking at the bloody scene in front of them, they all thought that this was a fox monster. She would kill everyone. Everyone, this can't go on. Li Fan frowned as he watched those people still jumping into the valley one after another. Wife, calm them down. There were still 20 people left. Although Li Fan didn't care about their lives, their deaths could strengthen the nine-tailed godly fox. It would be better if such a terrifying and passionate vixen didn't become stronger. Okay. With that, Murong Ying suddenly turned into a beam of red light and swept past the remaining people. At the same time, her finger pressed on the acupuncture points of those people. Under Murong Ying's modification, this move now had the effect of a real acupuncture point. Those whose acupuncture points were poked by Murong Ying would have their blood vessels sealed by Murong Ying's powerful yin qi. They would not be able to break through for a while and could only stand there in a daze, unable to move. Almost in the blink of an eye, Murong Ying had sealed the acupoints of these 20 people and fixed their bodies. Well done. Li Fan gave a thumbs up and praised his wife. For Jianhe to be able to perform at such a level, even he couldn't do it. Murong Ying, on the other hand, had been immersed in martial arts for many years and had a very thorough understanding of the human body's acupuncture points, which was why she could achieve such an effect. In Jianghu, a master of internal martial arts was usually an acupoint master. If he didn't even understand the acupoints, he wouldn't be able to practice his internal strength. It was very simple. If he could not even open up his meridians with his inner force, how could he make his inner force form a major circulation path in his body? Different from these Westerners' methods of rapidly improving their strength, Eastern martial arts were gradual and profound. Although Li Fan's strength was already at the sage level, he believed that he was still lacking in the study of martial arts. Done. Murong Ying had already returned to Li Fan's side, as if she had never left. My wife is mighty and domineering. Cut it out. Look down. Murong Ying pointed. Li Fan looked down and his expression darkened. Although some people were saved, there were still dozens of people who jumped into the valley like the Suicide Squad and turned into flesh and blood. Not only did they stain the valley red, they also stained the huge demon suppression ring red. At this moment, more and more cracks appeared on the demon suppression ring. It seemed like it would shatter into pieces in the next second. Jin Yang and the rest's expressions became more and more ugly. Hong Mai couldn't help but curse. What about this year's 4 sages? Where did they go? Those trash, they must be afraid. Another dragon warrior roared, The previous generation's demon suppression ring caused the fall of all 4 sages. This year, I'm afraid the new 4 sages won't dare to come. 4 sages. Li Fan thought of the Azure Dragon successor he met in the past. They were so arrogant and brainless. If they were willing to sacrifice everything to help, then that would be crazy. She's coming out. Jin Yang's face turned red. Even if we use all our strength, we can't let her have it easy. Everyone, use the demon suppression ring. Really? Huang Shan raised her head, her expression somewhat dazed. At this point, we can only do this. Jin Yang nodded. As long as we use the demon suppression ring to suppress her, we can find a chance to seal her again. If she doesn't escape from the demon sealing hill, we can still survive. Good. Then don't hesitate. Hong Mai was the first to take out a small jade ring from behind her. This jade ring seemed to be divided into several pieces, and she kept one piece in her hand. The demon suppression ring is our last resort. All the dragon warriors nodded. They stood up one after another, took out their own jade rings, and aimed at the center. As if attracted by something, the 8 jade bracelets suddenly flew up and joined together in midair, restoring themselves to their original state. And from this jade ring, a golden beam of light shot up into the sky. The originally dark clouds in the sky were directly blown away by this golden beam of light. In the next second, an even thicker beam of light fell down. With the 8 giant demon suppression swords as the boundary, it formed a transparent golden barrier that surrounded them. Everyone, as long as we are alive, this demon suppression ring formation will not be broken. As Jin Yang spoke, his body began to burn. Crimson flames wrapped around his body. Soon, when the flames dissipated, his body began to change. Jin Yang's body became more than 2 meters tall. A pair of golden dragon horns grew from his head, and his hands and feet were covered in dragon scales. A crimson spear appeared in his hand. Jin Yang's identity was the most special. Among the dragon race, other than the dragon race of the 4 seas, there was also the strongest royal race, the 5-clawed golden dragons. Jin Yang's body did not have the bloodline of a human. He was a hybrid of a royal and a member of the flame race, so he was thrown into this sealed land and imprisoned all day long. Jin Yang's pride, his ambition, all of it had dwindled in these thousands of years of suffering. But at this moment, he was betting everything he had. He was going to use the demon suppression ring to kill the 9-tailed divine fox, turn her into flesh and blood, and completely disappear from his life. At that moment, the day of liberation would come. Roar. And as he changed, the surrounding dragon warriors also turned into half-dragons. Even the unruly lowly, Hong Mai, had a pair of red dragon horns on her head and a pair of crimson sabers in her hands. The 8 true dragon energies revolved around the demon sealing hill as if immortals had descended, but in reality, it was the second coming of hell. Bang! In the next second, the golden-red demon suppression ring finally cracked open. Chapter 14:10. The demon suppression hoop finally shattered. 9 gigantic white tails suddenly tore open the ground. The tails swelled with the wind, and each of them grew to a length of 100 meters. They flapped their tails and completely tore open the demon suppression hoop above their head. And under the tails stood a gigantic white fox. The white fox's body was astonishing. When it lay there, it was at least 70 to 80 meters long, and its blood-red eyes were filled with hatred. She stood on the blood-red demon sealing hill, wagging her tail as she silently looked at the 8 dragon warriors around her. At this moment, powerful demonic energy erupted uncontrollably. Even Adam and Elizabeth were shaken to the ground. Looking at Zen Master Heaven's note, the 3 of them had joined forces and unleashed the golden bell shield, barely managing to block the demonic energy. Li Fan held his spring wave sword and held Murong Ying's hand. He stood on the cliff, his feet rooted to the ground, unmoving. Even if the ground beneath his feet crumbled, he didn't care. Some rocks flew to his side, but they were all shattered by his protective energy. 9-tailed demon fox, I will make you regret it. It was a mistake for you to come out. Jin Yang held his spear and jumped high into the air. He descended from the sky and slashed down toward the 9-tailed demon fox's head. And at this moment, one of the tails behind the nine-tailed demon fox suddenly transformed into a gigantic sword. It swung and knocked Jin Yang's spear away. At the same time, the other tail was wrapped in white frost and swept toward Jin Yang's body. Bam! Jin Yang was sent flying. The ninth heaven mystic ice on the tail happened to be the bane of his element, causing him a certain amount of damage. At the same time, her third tail brought with it blue lightning as it chased after Jin Yang. Eat this! Huang Shan was holding a blue ribbon in her hand. She swung her hand, and the ribbon flew out and wrapped around the lightning-covered tail, slowing the nine-tailed demon fox's movement. But she didn't know that the nine-tailed demon fox's fourth tail had already stabbed into the ground. Boom! The earth trembled, and the dragon warriors were all disrupted. Don't let her recover. Be careful of her 9 tails. Jin Yang raised his spear and charged toward the nine-tailed divine fox along with a few other dragon warriors. However, the earth tremored violently, and the other tails of the nine-tailed divine fox stood up and lashed out again. The dragon warriors panicked and fell into a disadvantageous position. Demonic fox! Don't be so arrogant. Jin Yang instructed the other dragon warriors. Green leaf, head east. Xianyi, north. Huang Shan, due west. Red plum blossom, south. The few dragon warriors immediately leaped into the air. With a twist of their bodies, they actually transformed into 4 10-meter-long divine dragons in the air. They flew up and coiled around the 4 demon-suppressing swords in 4 directions. A powerful aura instantly converged upon the nine-tailed divine fox's body. The nine-tailed divine fox's body stiffened, and its 9 tails were also restricted. Its body felt as if it had become 100 times heavier. This is the 1,000 Catties sealing demon, Jin Yang said loudly. It's the grand formation that we came up with over 1,000 years. With the help of the true dragon chi bestowed by the heavens, we will deal with a fox demon like you. Now that there's 100 times the gravity on you, let's see how you can still cause trouble. Hee hee. This grand formation is indeed powerful. The nine-tailed divine fox chuckled for a while before suddenly turning menacing. But it's no match for me. What an ugly struggle. Jin Yang scoffed. He picked up his spear and landed beside the nine-tailed divine fox. Then, he led the remaining 3 dragon warriors with their respective weapons and began to pummel the nine-tailed divine fox's body. If it wasn't for the nine-tailed divine fox's divine chi protecting her, Li Fan believed that she would have already been beaten to a pulp. However, even with the divine chi protecting her body, it was not limitless. Soon, the nine-tailed divine fox was forced to retreat. The golden light around her body also became dimmer and dimmer, as if it could be extinguished at any moment. Ha ha ha. Your time is up. Jin Yang laughed loudly. No one can save you now. You're seeking your own death by coming out of the seal. Is that so? Just when everyone thought that the nine-tailed divine fox was about to die, the latter raised her head calmly. Why don't you take a look and see if your grand formation is still there? What nonsense are you spouting? Before Jin Yang could finish speaking, the nine-tailed divine fox's tail that had turned into a sharp blade suddenly flew out from the side. It slammed into Jin Yang's sturdy body and sent him flying into the air. Everyone was shocked. This 15-kilogram devil seal had actually failed. They turned around and saw a terrifying scene. The fire dragon that Hong Mai had transformed into had already left its original position. Moreover, it had bitten Huang Shan's neck and forcefully torn her body apart. Hong Mai, what are you doing? Jin Yang was horrified when he saw this scene. Without Huang Shan, his demon sealing technique would be useless. The demon sealing technique could only be used by the dragon tribe of the 4 major tribes at the same time. Huang Shan was the only member of the water tribe here. The other 2 divine dragons immediately pounced towards Hong Mai, and Hong Mai immediately began to wrestle with them. The huge body of the dragon was not suitable for them to fight. However, at this moment, they unleashed their wildest instincts. It was as if they were using this opportunity to vent their thousands of years of oppression. Kill, kill, kill. As if infected by the rage of their companions, the remaining dragon warriors' eyes turned red and they began to wrestle with each other, killing each other. Stop, all of you stop. Jin Yang tried to dissuade them for a long time, but no one listened to him. In the end, he fell to his knees in despair. Jin Yang. The huge white divine fox's body suddenly curled up. In the blink of an eye, she had transformed into the beautiful woman in white from before. However, this woman was wearing a white fox fur coat, which made her even more seductive. She crossed her beautiful long legs and stood in front of Jin Yang just like that. "Look, I think I'm the one who won in the end. Hey, bastard. You cheated. Why would I need to cheat when I want to kill someone?" Zong Qing suddenly transformed into the jade-faced Rakshasa. He reached out and lifted Jin Yang's huge body. "It was time that distorted me, and it distorted all of you. I only used a little trick, and that little girl was bewitched by me. Master, honorable master." Hong Mai suddenly transformed into a human and crawled over. She crawled beside Zong Qing and kissed the back of her feet. "My master," Hong Mai obeyed your orders. "Please be merciful and save Hong Mai. Let Hong Mai escape from this damned hell." Scram. Zong Qing kicked Hong Mai away, but the anger on her face instantly disappeared. She said coquettishly, "Ayo, of course I won't forget your help. In this place, we are all cellmates." Chapter 14:11. Yes. Master, you are the real savior. Come and save this poor Hong Mai. Hong Mai crawls over and hugs Amris' leg again. "Great master, you will definitely bring me out of here. Hong Mai is willing to serve you for the rest of my life, even as your dog." "How can there be such a cute dog?" Amris stretches out his hand and hooks Hong Mai's small chin. "I want you to stay by my side, that is enough. However, I have a small problem now. Can you help me?" "Great master, if you need anything, just tell me. Hong Mai is willing to be your weapon." Hong Mai points at the dragon warriors who are fighting. "Are you going to kill them?" "Hong Mai will go now." "Trash. Idiot." Amris kicks Hong Mai to the side again. "I want to know how to take back this damned Chen Kuan demon ring. Ha ha ha." Jin Yang, who was originally curled up at the side, suddenly laughs when he hears this. "Demon Fox, I thought you were very powerful, but you still lost to me. Once this Chen Kuan demon ring is released, within 49 days, it will turn all the gods in the array into ashes. What are you laughing at? I will not die, the one who will die will be you." Amorous says mockingly, "One of my tales is the undying soul. Although I hate that woman, she indeed spoils me and helped me train this undying method. Although the Chen Kuan demon ring is powerful, it can at most seal me for a few hundred years. After a few hundred years, my body will reform again and I will leave this place. As for you guys, you will only become bones here." Hong Mai is so scared that her face turns pale. She quickly crawls forward and hugs Amorous' leg, begging, "Master, great master, you must save Hong Mai. Hong Mai does not want to die." "Ayo, what are you afraid of? I naturally do not want you to die." Amorous squats down and affectionately caresses Hong Mai's pale face. "So, you must tell me, where is the eye of this Chen Kuan demon ring?" "Don't tell her." Jin Yang is shocked and quickly shouts, "Even if we die, we must make this woman accompany us in death." "Shut up." Hong Mai suddenly appeared beside Jin Yang and directly slapped him on the face. Blood and teeth flew out of Jin Yang's mouth. "You idiot, how dare you anger master? If you want to die, go ahead. Hong Mai doesn't want to die, Hong Mai wants to live. You're the idiot." Jin Yang wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. "If she goes out, all of us will be killed. She won't leave a single person alive. Hong Mai is not a human. Hong Mai is a dragon. It is master's pet." Hong Mai said without hesitation, "But you must die. Master hates you. Hong Mai hates you too. Crazy, he's really crazy." Jin Yang's eyes were filled with hatred. "Nine-tailed demon fox, even if I die and turn into a vengeful spirit, I won't let you have an easy time. Haha, when have I ever taken you seriously?" Following Hong Mai's instructions, the nine-tailed divine fox had already made his way over to one of the demon sealing swords. He looked at the towering sword and gently placed his palm on its surface. "Soon, you will die. You damned demon fox. Stop it." Jin Yang's eyes were bloodshot, but the nine-tailed divine fox's hand was already glowing with a golden light. It's too late, handsome mixed blood brother. As he spoke, the power within his body exploded forth and flowed through his palm into the huge sword. The Qian Kuan demon ring's only eye was this huge sword. If he made a mistake and destroyed the other swords, then the formation would become even more powerful and the eye would disappear. Great glorious sun palm, army shattering. A unique golden sun inscription appeared on the sword. Bang! This gigantic demon-suppressing sword was directly broken into two. The broken pieces of the sword fell in all directions as the golden light dissipated. At this moment, the dragon warriors seemed to have awakened. All of them put aside their grudges and picked up their weapons at the same time as they charged toward the nine-tailed divine fox. Great glorious sun palm, extreme bliss. The nine-tailed divine fox smiled faintly as she pressed her palm down. Even Li Fan, who was far away on the cliff, felt a terrifying pressure bearing down on him. He couldn't help but look up at the sky. The clouds in the sky parted as a huge flaming palm crashed down onto the demon ceiling hill. Li Fan's eyes narrowed into slits. This woman's power was a little dangerous. Divine rank. Was this the power of divine rank? It was as if she could destroy the entire world with just a wave of her hand. Boom! The earth trembled once again, and the small island swayed along with it. The villagers outside were all livid. When they saw the flaming palm, they knew that doomsday was coming. The nine-tailed divine fox was finally born. The flames of her wrath would descend upon this world. This small island was only the beginning. When the flames dissipated, a huge palm print was left on the ground. The small hill had completely disappeared. It had been razed to the ground. Only black smoke rose from the crater left by the flaming palm print, proving that a terrible disaster had occurred here. Jin Yang and the others were all covered in dust. Some were kneeling on the ground, some were lying in the crater, and some had even been charred black. It was clear that the nine-tailed divine fox's attack had unleashed a terrifying destructive power. Even these saint-ranked dragon warriors were no match for her. This was the disparity between divine rank and holy rank. Master, you are too great. Hong Mai was smiling happily despite the deaths of her companions. She was dressed in a red robe, and her eyes were filled with hope as she stood amidst the blood and flames. Ah, Master, take Hong Mai away. I've had enough of this place. Ah, I think I can see the scenery outside. There are so many people and it's so lively. Don't worry, I'll take you away now. The nine-tailed divine fox made her way over to Hong Mai and looked into her eyes. Then, she suddenly raised a palm and slapped it onto the top of her head. Great glorious sun palm, soul-shattering palm, a wisp of soul flew out from Hong Mai's body before being pulverized. Hong Mai's soul had been destroyed. Hong Mai, tears of blood flowed from Jin Yang's eyes. There was nothing he could do. He could only slam his fist into the ground. Of the 8 dragon warriors, some were dead, and some were injured. He was the only one who was still conscious and talking. But soon, he would also die. Because once the nine-tailed divine fox left the demon ceiling hill, they would suffer a backlash from the spell formation and die. Who can stop me if I want to leave? The nine-tailed divine fox had already stepped out of the demon ceiling hill as she spoke. Jin Yang looked on with despair in his eyes. She had finally stepped out of the demon ceiling hill. Jin Yang awaited his own death. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.